Okay, so I'm just sharing my screen also, and hope it is visible. Is it so?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so previous class we are discussing about your AML and all those concepts. So and we have covered the global standards in very deep. I hope everyone has gone through the notes and all and this stuff. So I don't think anyone is having any doubt in the global standards because these are quite important question as far as the interview is concerned. So do anyone have anything in that? Because after that we don't have that much to discuss. Then we'll be directly jumping to your transaction monitoring stuff. Okay. So shall I move ahead? Because it's a very important topic, and we would not be discussing these again because it's almost 2 to 3 times which we have discussed. So shall we?
Mukund just wanted to know about the global AML networks, all those FATF, US Patriot Act, everything. What kind of question does interviewer ask on this? Because I've gone through the notes
Hmm.
and I could show there's not much study material on this.
Hmm. So they will just be asking you like how many recommendations are there in FATF, what is the full form of FATF, and in regard to what whether it's a regulatory body or recommendation body, and for your Basel Act they can sorry for your Patriot Act they can ask the full form of the Patriot Act, or they can ask like when it comes into the picture and why and what's the purpose. Then for the your BSA Act, they can ask the same questions like what's the full form of the BSA Act and when it's come into the picture and what's the purpose for that and what are the major provisions. These can be the maximum, these can be the max questions they can ask. And for your AMLDs, they can ask like how many AMLDs are there and what do you understand by the term AMLDs. And for Wolfsburg Basel, same. They will just ask general questions like what do you understand by the term and all those stuff. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So this is the risk assessing framework. I think okay, so let's just discuss about this. So this is how risk assessing is done by any of the organization, and I'll be showing you one thing. Risk assessing, we are doing the AML part, risk assessment framework. Yep. So whenever we are onboarding a customer, so we do the risk assessment, and the same thing implies everywhere. Whenever we are doing any sort of risk assessment, these are the few points which are taken into the picture. So the very first is you are establishing the context, like what sort of business model is there and what are the geographical risks involved. Like suppose a company is involved in a business of it is involved in casino business, so definitely they would be having more risk as compared to anyone who is involved in some general business, some general trading or something like that. And the same goes with your geographical location, and same goes with the risk appetite of the organization. So let's suppose I am having very high risk appetite as an organization, so I would be neglecting few risk. And if I am having low risk appetite as an organization, so I'm not gonna neglect the risk and all those stuff. Okay, then the risk identification, depending on the product channel and customer type, like what sort of product the company is involved in and what are the channels they are using to do their business and what types of customer do they have. So let's suppose if a company is involved in let's suppose liquor business, so definitely liquor is a riskier business. Or either you can say let's suppose a company is involved in real estate, so real estate is a high risk business. Or in jewelry is a high risk business, so the product which is involved in their business is high risk because all the precious stones and metals and these products are considered very high risk, as in context to the AML, as we have already discussed. And then comes to is there anyone who is saying something? No. Okay, so then comes your channels, like what sort of channels the business is using to do their business and all those stuff. Then the analysis part comes into the picture, like what is the impact scoring which we have made and what are the risk assessment which we have done for the organization. And now what scoring is there. And for even they use these kind of risk metrics for doing the scoring, like either it's a low risk customer or a medium or a high risk customer. Then their risk evolution metrics ranking, this is a metric matrix ranking, high, low, medium, whatever. Then the mitigation, like what mitigations are available, like what are the controls we have, what are the what also KRIs we have, and all those stuff. And then comes to your monitoring and review. And I think, like, no one is going to ask you all these questions, and these are just for general understanding. So just don't be worried about, like, if you are not getting the term, so that's not a big deal to actually give time to even.
Risk
Okay.
evaluation, can you explain a little bit
Risk evaluation.
more to us?
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah, so risk evaluation is actually done based on different factors. So let's suppose a business is there who is into high risk business, and which is from high risk jurisdiction also. So the as per different factors, so the risk which the organization is gonna come up with the onboarding is going to be quite high as compared to to any other organization which is just involved in some general business. That can be a general trading business or something like that. So this is how actually evaluation is done. And this is the risk matrix which we have. So let's suppose the dynamics are like, the risk is just rare, and it's also negligible. The factors which are processing the risk is almost rare, like the things which, let's suppose the business is not high risk business, so it's rarely like they would be involved in any high risk activity, so they comes into the rare part. And the risk which they possess is negligible because they are into rare. So if a business is, let's suppose, possibly that can be into high risk business. Let's suppose there is some, I can give you the example. Uh, 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 um, mm, 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 the possible businesses, yep. So let's suppose there is someone who is involved in, are you guys aware about this different domain which we have, in which companies give financial advices and promotional advices to political parties? It's a whole and soul business in itself, and they give services to political parties regarding their social media handling or their investment strategies and all those stuff to politicians. So either it's not a high risk business, but yeah, possibilities are there because they are connected with politically exposed person. So lots and lots of money are involved there, and there are chances like possibly they can be into any sort of AML activity. Because let's suppose I am a politician, I am a what do you say, client for a company which is handling my, let's suppose, social media only. So chances are there that I can try to, just be in connection with the company and just try to launder my money through the company, either by fake invoicing or just doing the trade based money laundering or something like that. So because of that, we have to like assess whether the risk is negligible, either it's minor, moderate, major, or severe. And what are the chances for the person to be involved in that activity? So if a person is, it's almost certain, like, okay, it is involved in that activity. Let's suppose someone is doing mining business. So mining is a high risk business, so it is almost certain like this person can be involved in high risk business, sorry, in your money laundering activity. And the risk which the person is possessing, let's suppose the different factors are like the geographical location, or there anything can be there. So we can just assess like, okay, the risk is also suppose major. So the risk matrix says that it's a critical customer for the organization, because it's almost certain like the person is going to be involved in high risk activity. If we are onboarding any cash intensive business or anything like that, so it's almost certain like the activity is going to be high risk. And let's suppose the risk which is there is also moderate or major or severe. So it's like almost done like, yeah, it's a high risk business for the organization. So you can just have a look on this, and no one is going to ask all these types of questions, because there is nothing to do with all these things. They would only be asking questions related to your conceptual knowledge, like your terms and all those stuff. So no one is going to ask you like how risk, like what is risk matrix or anything like that. It's just we have added this for your better understanding, like how actually metrics for any of the customer is made, and this is how they risk assess the customer. Okay. Okay, so shall we move ahead in the sixth topic, because today we also have to cover the your Prantiyam part also. So shall we move ahead?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so these are the dynamic risk models and the real-time monitoring techniques, which we will be discussing in the transaction monitoring also. And these are just adaptive techniques. You can just have a look on this, and I am 100% sure no one can ask you any question regarding all these. These are just for giving you a better insight like how things are actually happening right now. So there are machine learning algorithms are there which detect the patterns and they just throw triggers to the system. So this is how AI is working right now, and AI is not at all working correctly in the AML domain because it is not effective here. Because I'm also working somewhere and things are they are using AI and things are not good. The result which the AI is giving is not at all satisfying. So don't worry on that part. If you would be thinking any day like, okay, either my job is safe or not, or can AI replace me? So no, so AI just can't replace AML jobs. That's not at all possible. Okay, so let's just it's
because
behavioral.
because
Yes.
in AML there is a rapid changes
Yeah, changes are
of day by
definitely
day.
there. Hmm. Definitely. Okay, so these are the behavioral analysis and streaming and analytics, automatic response, and geolocation IP. So, is there anyone? This is an important term. So, is there anyone who is aware about this IP tracking or geolocation IP?
Geolocation, could be that a place which is of a high risk jurisdiction. Like
Hmm.
from that you are getting transaction, or from that you are giving some money to anybody else.
Hmm.
Like you give an example of a one person living in Canada, like import export ka business hai.
Hmm.
He is giving money to someone of high risk jurisdiction. You ask the person regarding the bill, he does not have it.
Hmm. Hmm.
It could be like high risk country geolocation related to that.
So let's suppose if someone is sitting in Cayman Island and he is doing transaction in US. So definitely, just by the IP tracking, we can know like okay, this person is sitting in a high risk jurisdiction account location. So let's suppose if by IP tracking we get to know a pattern like a customer is doing transaction from different location. Today he's sitting in Cayman Island, then he is in Mauritius, then he is in Iran, then in Cuba. So like patterns are there, we can just identify the patterns, and we can know just by the location of the person like whether this person is involved in can be involved in some AML or not. So this is how IP tracking or geolocation tracking is done, and it is nowadays it is actively getting used by the banks because the whenever you will be login in your net banking, so there is one pop-up for terms and condition, and it is mentioned about they will ask for the location access. So this is the purpose for doing that. Okay. Okay, these are the red flag catalogs. Okay, so anyone who wants to just discuss because we have already discussed few things. So if anyone wants to just read these out and just make this class more interactive.
Can
Yeah, sure, please.
unusual transaction, spikes in value, structured deposits, rapid movement. Basically, unusual transaction are regarding at the rapid movement of funds related to lots of withdrawal, moving of cash here and there. The
Mm,
second one is login anomalies,
mm,
multiple IPs, Tor not login, odd time zones.
mm,
This basically like means you are like logging from different location. Like your account is in US, but it is logging from like countries like Cuba, Iran. The third one is device signal, emulator, jailbroken device use, device churn. The fourth one is payment and card abuse, declines before access, multiple cards, one device. The second last is lending fraud, immediate drawdown on approval, fake employment. This could be like giving the fake employment letter for any purpose. The last one is insider threat, dormant account access,
Hmm.
Credential misuse of ours.
Yeah. So like, is there anyone who is aware about this jailbroken device or something?
It's like in iPhone, it's like breaking a lock. The jailbroke here means like breaking the security encrypted code.
You know, every mobile phone has the security encryption code, so you just can't operate each and everything. There are few restrictions there. So jailbreaking is actually just removing all the restrictions, and then you can just misuse the device for anything. So that's how jailbreaking is done. Okay, these are the few red flags catalog. The unusual transaction which you have, like there can be structuring, there can be spike in values or rapid movement can be there. And then the login abnormalities, like let's suppose a person is doing transaction at 2 a.m. In Indian standard time. So that's a very odd timing for logging on a daily basis, and just doing the transaction around 2, 3 a.m. in the night, because it is not the time where usually people do transaction. And if multiple IPs are involved, so definitely it's also a login abnormality. Then your device signals, then your payment or card abuse, just declining the transaction before the success. Because at times what happens, when they just, it's just a point of a millisecond or a second itself. What people do, it's a fraud in itself. Okay. So what people do is they will just initiate a transaction, and then just before the successful payment of the transaction, they will cancel that transaction. So at times what happens, the system doesn't catch that thing and the transaction got successful, and also the money didn't get deducted. So that's how people do all this stuff. And then lending fraud are there, like any sort of fake employment if there is, or immediate drop down on approval or something like that. Like someone is giving someone is taking some loan from the bank, and the yes, Lakshay.
Like as you say that people are doing transaction, getting it cancelled, the transaction will not be fulfilled, na?
At times what happens is the system didn't get it, so it's just matter of a few milliseconds. So just before the successful completion of the transaction, they will just cancel it.
Okay.
And at times what happens, the transaction is successful and the payment is deducted, but it is actually not deducted from the account of the customer, but it is paid to the receiving party by the
Oh,
system.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't think there is nothing to discuss in all these things, because in transaction monitoring itself, we are going to discuss the actual red flags and all those stuff. So they are more important than this, and this is how EDDs are done. So yeah, you can just have a hang on this. It can be, you know, important topic for you all. Although interviewer will not ask you, but if you would be sitting in an interview as an experienced folk for a core AML KYC interview, or for a core, EDD or CDD interview, then they can definitely ask you the EDD steps, like how all these EDDs are done. So these are the trigger criterias which we have. Like if a person is a PEP or high risk business or something like that, then trigger is there. Then identity verification is done, like all sort of KYC and all sort of document collection and all things are done for that purpose. And then source of wealth and source of fund. So if anyone will be asking you like what are the main im like main terms, or what are the main, what you can say, uh, main content in any of the EDD report. So don't forget this source of wealth and source of fund. This is one of the most important thing to be there. If any bank is conducting EDD for any individual or entity, so the source of wealth identification and source of fund identification is a must. And the next is your UBO identification, the beneficial ownership. Like whenever we are doing the EDD, so we need to know the source of fund, source of wealth, and the UBO structuring of the, either it's an entity or an individual. Like these are one of the two most important terms, and people usually forget these terms because these are not into day to day talk. Like we are almost on daily basis we are discussing about PEP or sanction or transaction monitoring, but these are the most important: your source of wealth and source of fund identification, and your ultimate beneficial owner identification. Okay. And then we have our PEP and sanction screenings, and then ongoing monitoring is there. and then governance senior officials just sign off the EDD report, and yeah, the EDD is ready. So actually the EDD, making an EDD can take like even a month, or it can take up to 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months also. Usually the TAT by the entities are just for the 15 days or 1 month, but yeah, at times they stretched. So getting a EDD conducted is not a easy thing for any of the organization, and it is very, very costly. And like it can cost somewhere around $500 or $600 for a single report. Okay. So that's why they just don't identify each and everyone as a high risk customer, because whenever we are identifying anyone as a high risk customer, so lots and lots of cost uh, just gets involved. Okay. So any doubt in this EDD steps? This is a general way how EDDs are made.
Mukul, I hope we'll cover this in transaction monitoring, the steps,
Yeah,
how we
yeah,
do it, right?
yeah. For making an EDD, we are not covering that, but yeah, how transaction monitoring is done and all those stuff, we are covering all these things. So actually, things are very, very connected here in AML KYC domain. So everything is actually connected. So if you would be uh, learning this EDD steps, so they can definitely help you in understanding, better understanding the transaction monitoring process. So any doubt, please just tell me for these EDD steps, or either just have a hang on these and just try to learn these steps. Just anyhow, just learn these steps, because interviewer can ask you like, as an analyst, what do you think how EDDs are conducted? So you should have few things in your mind, and you should just telling them like, okay, these are the trigger criteria which we have. Then we do the basic KYC checks and identity verification of the customer, and after picking all the documents, then we move forward to identify the source of wealth and source of fund for the customer, and then the UBO identification is there. Then all sort of screenings are done, and then ongoing monitoring happen, like all the adverse media, and they're all frequent reviews, and all these reviews are done, and then the senior officials, that can be your MLR officer or anyone, they just sign off the report like, okay, it's an EDD report on the customer, and it is generated on this date. So
But
that's how.
PEP and sanction screening was not done at CDD level.
Actually, when we know like we have to conduct the EDD for the customer, like in the trigger criteria itself, we are aware like, okay, it's a PEP customer. So we it's a high risk customer, so we will be doing the EDD only. So we don't do CDD at that time. We just conduct their EDD only, because CDD is not required if we are doing the EDD thing. So in EDD itself, all the steps which are there in CDD are conducted, because
Means
it's
if we
a.
are
Hmm,
yes, if we are onboarding any customer at and
yeah.
at CDD level, we find that the customer is eligible for EDD. Then
Hmm.
all those steps we don't apply all those steps at CDD level. We directly move that customer to EDD, and then those steps take. Yes.
Look what happens. Let's suppose just in the initial phase, like even before starting the CDD, even before picking the documents, we know like it's a high risk customer or it's a PEP. Let's suppose if Narendra Modi is, if he wants to open an account, so the bank from the very first day, they know like it's a high risk customer, it's a prime minister, so it's a PEP. So instead of conducting his CDD, because CDD is conducted for doing the risk assessment, like actually getting to know like either this customer is high risk customer or not. So instead of doing the CDD, because from the very first day we are aware like this is a high risk customer now, so we will not be doing the CDD part, we will be directly moving to the EDD only, because at the end EDD is needed. When we are doing CDD for general customers, and when we got to know, okay, this is a high risk customer, then we move the customer to the EDD part. And in the EDD itself, re screenings are done, all sort of screenings are done again. Either it's a media screening, PEP screening, sanction screening, all screenings are done again, and everything is mentioned in the EDD report.
Okay.
So any doubt in this, guys?
Question like CDD is customer due diligence. It is like somehow similar to simplified due diligence.
Hmm?
Simplified due diligence or the CDD is somehow similar.
simplified due diligence and CDD. Look, what happens is when we are onboarding a customer, so at the time of onboarding customer, we do their CDD. Okay,
Okay.
after onboarding the customer, when we like we have assessed the customer as a low risk customer, and when periodic reviews comes into the picture after 4 or 5 years, when we have to re-risk assess the customer, and for the past 4 or 5 years the customer pattern is just uh, of a low risk customer only, then we will not conduct an CDD again. We will just be relying on the simplified due diligence only.
Okay.
That's the thing, because conducting a CDD and EDD is time taking, and it's a lots and lots of cost is also involved in that. Okay. Any doubt in this, guys? Because this can be a general question. They can ask you like, what do you think how EDDs are done, or as an panelist, how you think as an analyst, what do you think EDD should be conducted? So what can be the steps? So these are the steps actually. Any doubt, or shall we move?
We can move.
Okay, great. Hmm. These are the few case studies, and if you want, we will be also be sharing you the thing. And one more thing, on the MLH page there is a series for 30-day 30 case laws. If you guys find time, if you have time, and if you want to just read out the case laws, you can just go there and just read them for free of cost, and we'll also be sharing your material for that, and the detailed case studies are there, so you can just have a hang on these. These are the emerging trends which are there into the picture right now. So yeah, they can ask you like, what do you think as in email concern, and the technology is growing like anything, and the artificial intelligence and your agentic AI, they are taking every day, that they are growing like anything. So what do you think, what are the new generation or new age risk which are emerging from the activity? So actually these are the emerging threats which we have as an AML concern. Your DeFi mixers and cross chain bridges. So what do you think, like what do you understand by this cross chain bridges and DeFi mixers? This is related to your cryptocurrency. I don't think people have idea. So actually, Gurdeep, do you want to add something on DeFi mixers or cross chain bridges?
Cross chain bridges, it means that you can use the Bitcoin. Suddenly you can change the currency in the Ethereum token, just like ERC, Link, and Solana. These are the Ethereum based tokens.
Hmm.
It is cross chain bridges because you can change your tokens into the from Bitcoin to the other tokens. This is called cross chain bridges.
Yeah.
You
So
can enter,
actually,
yes, you
uh,
can enter the new tokens.
hmm, hmm, hmm. So like I'll tell you like what DeFi mixers are, or we also call them like cryptocurrency mixers. So they are actually decentralized finance tools which are designed to enhance the privacy, and like to enhance the privacy in blockchain transactions, we have these DeFi mixers. And I can tell you one thing, like they are just for the privacy purpose here, and they are all in the gray and they are illegal zones, and many jurisdictions are there which are involved in you know using these DeFi mixers. So actually what they do is they just make the transaction more private and all those stuff. So it is uh very very risk relevant in context to AML domain. Okay, and as Gurdeep has told about the cross chain bridges, although we'll be discussing all these in our crypto class also. So cross chain bridges, we can just jump between two cryptocurrencies when we are doing the transaction. So we can just move the data between two different blockchains. Okay, like are you guys aware about like what this blockchain or blocks or how these things are done, like crypto mixers we have? Because then only you can get a better idea of that, otherwise there is no point of discussing the terms. Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, you have
Yes,
discussed
you're
in one of our
audible.
class.
Okay, so I
Uh,
think in the induction only we have discussed something about
yes, there
crypto, I
are
think.
some blocks created on each and every transaction. Suppose I have done
Hmm.
given you some crypto, and you have then
Hmm.
given me again the crypto. There are some
Hmm. Hmm.
blockchains that have been set there.
Hmm. Definitely. So, like as Gurdeep has told, just just for the sake of knowing it, you can just know it, because getting deep down in this can actually cause lots and lots of confusion for most of the people. So, just you can just have a read like, okay, it's an emerging thread, and DeFi mixers and cross-chain bridges are an emerging thread because they allowed assets and data to move between two blockchains. Okay, so. Uh, Actually they enable their interportability. So if a person is working on the Bitcoin, so they can just do transaction with Solana or bit or with Ethereum. So that's how cross chain bridges are there. They are just for interportability, but with this interportability, AML risk also comes into the picture. Okay, then we have NFT and wash
Basically,
trading.
cross-chain bridges is are the crypto transactions.
No, yeah, when we are doing crypto transactions, so we are working on a single blockchain. So let's suppose I'm working on a Bitcoin blockchain, I'm doing transaction on Bitcoin blockchain. So by using this cross-chain bridges, I can actually transact with a person who is holding Ethereum. So we can just do cross-chain bridge transaction, and it increases the interportability between Bitcoins. Okay,
Okay.
so that's what cross-chain bridging is. And it's a very new term like wash trading, so it's a very important term also. And anyone who is going for any of the crypto what do you say, the crypto interview, so definitely they would be asked they will be asking you about wash trading. It's a very very new term. So any idea in that? Okay, so I'll tell you. Actually, wash trading is just nothing. It's just the same traders is actually buying and selling the same asset repeatedly to create the illusion in the market like the demand is higher. Let's suppose I'm the wash trader. So what I'll do, I'll just keep buying and buying, buying and selling, and just I'll be creating volume in a certain digital asset or certain what do you say, for certain asset in the market to create a illusion like the demand is high and the liquidity is less and the price movement is there. So this is what actually wash trading is. It's self trading, and it's just all about inflating the volumes and manipulating the price to create some sort of FOMO in the market. Like, okay, this stock is going up, so must be something which I as a trader am missing. So what people used to do is, let's suppose if a stock is just moving high, so people think like, okay, there can be something which I don't know. That's because the stock is moving high, or that's because the volume is that high in this stock. So it's how traders do wash trading also. It's a very illegal and manipulative activity in the market. Any doubt in wash trading? Because it's very, very important. You can note that also. Wash trading is a very important term, and it's a very new term in the market actually. If
Yes.
you are sitting in your interview and you are discussing about wash trading by yourself, so definitely that would be adding some advantage.
But is this only related to the crypto or
No, no, no. It's a general term actually.
It's a general term, wash trading. It means you can manipulate the demand of the any of the thing.
Hmm.
If you repeatedly buy and sell the same cryptocurrency, so the demand is higher, the
Hmm.
price going up,
Hmm.
so the trader can do some of the trader can do this thing.
Yeah, definitely. You know, like wash trading is just all about market manipulation, pumping the price high and just creating a FOMO in the market. It's what wash trading is. Even just a second, I'll be sharing you in your group also about wash trading. So you can have a better outlook like how this is done. Okay, so just have a whatever we are sharing you in the group. So please try to get some like spare some time and just try to have a reading of all the terms. Okay, so wash trading, then synthetic ID and deep fake KYCs. We all are aware about the deep fakes and all those stuff. Then digitalized trade documents, TBML exports, and e-voicing e-bill. I think those who are having exposure with this TBML or e-invoicing or GST invoicing, maybe because GST invoicing is also done on e-invoicing basis. So, all these digitalized trade docs are actually getting a very big threat for people who like they are a very big threat in AML itself, because people who are involved in trade based money laundering, they are using these utilized trade docs for doing all sort of money laundering stuff. Okay, then we have cross-chain laundering, which we have just discussed, cross-chain bridges, multiple blockchain hopes, and masking the flow. Just for layering purpose, whenever we are doing layering in the crypto market, so we do this cross-chain laundering and this cross-chain hoping. So multiple by using multiple blockchain, we just try to mask from where the money is coming and where it is going. So these are the emerging threats. And just if you would be looking at these threads, you will be getting an idea like, okay, most of the threads are there which are related to crypto only, the digital currency. So you can just have an understanding like in the upcoming time, in the upcoming 4 5 years, crypto is the new big thing here. Okay, in the ML domain, crypto is going to be the next big game. So if you want to, I like it's a personal suggestion of mine. If you want to build your career, and you are a fresher or you are for looking for entry level roles, so try to have more and more knowledge about crypto itself and try to dig down into like how all these things works. And if you would be starting early in the crypto, then definitely a long way is there. Okay. So any doubt in the emerging threats? These are just for your general, uh, what you say, just for the general reading. Although they would not ask you, but if they ask you, you should not be blank. Okay, these are the governance framework. Nothing to even just don't read this. This is not at all required. And this is a checklist for when we do and what we do. So if you want, you can just have a look. But yeah, they will not discuss this also. And like if anyone wants to just discuss this, so they can, because after that, yeah, it's important, we'll discuss this and then we are done with this. So just have a look on this. Anyone wants to just give a read on this checklist and control? Oh, no one. So don't we have anyone who wants to just discuss these points? How many people are there? Okay, 26 people are there. Even Sanket is also there. Great. So, okay, I'll be discussing these checklist and control. So, like, these are the controls and these are the frequency when these are done. So let's suppose like high risk KYC refresh is one which you guys must be familiar of. So within every 12 months we have to do the KYC refresh for high risk customer, and these sanction media screening and PEP screening are done on daily basis, because negative media is coming on daily basis, things are getting changed on daily basis, sanctions are coming into the picture on daily basis. So this is they are done on daily frequency. Then UBO identification is done at the time of onboarding itself, and if there are changing in the UBO structuring, then triggers will be there. So this is when the UB identification is done. Then your annual money laundering and your risk assessment, all those stuff, these are annually done. Then your penetration test for digital channels, these are done for semi-annual. So you can just have a look, but these are not that much important to understand. These are just for your general understanding. But yeah, this is the most important thing which you should actually take from this document. So these are those terms. These are the
Mukund,
yeah.
how the screening can be done on daily basis?
So what happens is, let's suppose triggers are generated from different softwares. Let's suppose we are doing world check screening. Okay, we are using world check for doing the screening. So what world check will do, they will just collect information on, like, it's a never ending process. They will be collecting information on every minute, every second, because news is coming every minute, every second. Peps are changing every minute, every second. So let's suppose uh, I'm just a normal low risk customer. I'm onboarded to a bank, and they have risk assessed me as a low risk customer. Then what happened one day? I just got married to a lady, and she was the finance minister of a country. So now I am a related person to this, what do you say, this pep. So now a pep screening is also required more for me also, because now I am a high risk customer. Now a EDD is also needed for me. So that's how it is done on daily basis, because sanctions, this is not something like sanction can be there at any time. Like US, if US is putting sanctions on India, so they are changing it also on daily basis. So this is how it's a real time game. Actually, it's a real time game.
And it's an autopilot thing, no?
Yeah, it's a autopilot thing, and they work on a algorithm based system. So
So there's no human intervention there.
no, for trigger generation, there is no human intervention. Triggers are generated from algorithm-based systems, and for resolving the triggers, human interventions comes into the picture for mitigating those.
Okay.
Hmm.
बेसिकली ये सॉफ्टवेयर सब कुछ देख लेते हैं, आपका नेगेटिव मीडिया देख लेते हैं,
Hmm.
पर्सन कौन सी पोस्ट पे बैठा है
Sub,
वो सब
sub,
देख
sub,
लेते
sub. They would be having like every detail, like uh that can be related to your आपने कब से कब तक कहाँ पे क्या काम किया है, your DOB, whatever information is available on the open source, they will collect all the information and then they will throw the trigger. Okay. Hmm. So any doubt, or shall we move with the AML KYC glossary?
We can move.
Okay. So actually these are the terms which
Can
they
you
can.
explain the last one, model validating and tuning?
Model validation and tuning is something, let's suppose I am a financial institution, I am a bank, so I have a certain model for risk assessing the customer, let's suppose. So as per my model for peps, I am just considering in Indian context, let's suppose I am considering finance minister for 10 years pep. Okay, so he after leaving his position, I am considering, it's a hypothetical example, although finance minister are considered as lifetime peps. So let's suppose I'm just considering like this finance minister of the country, any country, they will be going to be PEP for 10 years only as per my policies. But what happened is the risk increased and few things happened in the organization, and which are just because we are not keeping the bars high for our screening part, or for our timeline for the peps. So we'll be doing the tuning of our system, tuning of our model, like okay, this thing is not going to work. I have to uh, raise the bar. We have to be more strict, we have to be more, we have to increase the timeline for certain people, for risk assessing them, and for um, identifying their risk. Okay, so tuning is all about, आपने सुना होगा, it's something like servicing, or it's just retuning or rebuilding something for better implementation. Because let's suppose the policies and procedure which were created 5 years back or 10 years back, they are not going to be effective in today's world. So we have to retune policies and procedures and guidelines on a regular basis. So they usually do these for on quarterly basis. Okay, or anything.
I have a doubt. This
Hmm.
NFT and virtual assets are same thing.
NFT is a virtual asset in itself, non-fungible token. It's a
So
virtual asset.
can you explain what is this NFT basically?
So NFT is a unique token which is created for a certain asset, for a certain virtual asset actually. So we have Bitcoins. So Bitcoins, in the major difference between Bitcoins and NFTs or crypto NFTs are, they are unique. Okay, NFTs are unique and cryptos can be generic. So if anyone is holding Bitcoin, so some other person can also hold Bitcoin. So two people can hold Bitcoin at the same time. But for NFTs, they are unique digital asset and they just represent ownership of a specific item. Like some art can be there, some music or something like that. So they represent the uniqueness of that, the ownership of that specific item. So let's suppose there is a painting. Okay, so some painting is there, and I have created a NFT in for that painting on blockchain. So just for that painting, that NFT is there. So it's unique. If I want to sell that painting unique, like if I want to sell that painting, then I can sell that painting using that unique NFT which I have made. So these are unique, and bitcoins are or cryptos are general. Okay.
बेसिकली दे आर वर्चुअल लिमिटेड एनएफटी का एक्सेस बहुत कम लोगों के पास होता है ये
हाँ, एनएफटी का एक्सेस होता ही नहीं है. इट्स यूनिक इन इटसेल्फ.
लाइक कोई प्लेटफॉर्म है इसके रिगार्डिंग दैट हाउ कैन वी गेट एक्सेस टू इट
लाइक वी हैव डिफरेंट क्रिप्टो मिक्सर्स जहाँ पे एनएफटी ट्रेड भी होता है.
ओके
या लाइक एथरम एनएफटी है, सोलाना एनएफटी इज देयर, सो देयर आर few things. It's just a certificate. It's just a digital certificate of ownership. Just that, just like that. You are not making any documentation. You are just creating a non-fungible token for the ownership, and it is getting traded. Okay, because for trading the NFTs, they are different platforms are there. They are not traded on the general crypto platforms. Okay. So shall we discuss the ML KYC glossary?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so these are the ML KYC glossary which we have. So just go through all these terms, and these are the most important terms which they can ask you any of the term. So I think everyone is aware about each and everything's full form. So it's just few people are not aware about this VASP, which virtual asset service providers. So they are just not nothing. They are related to crypto. So they are the one who provide the services like the crypto exchange services in the virtual asset world. Okay. Then we have trade based money laundering. Everyone is aware. We have discussed all these points lots and lots of time. Your UBO, FATF, CDD, KRIs and key KPIs are your key risk indicators, are your key risk performance indicator, key performance indicator. So I think everyone must be aware about each and every term. किसी को in terms में तो कोई doubt नहीं है. I think no one should be having any sort of doubt in any of these terms, because these are very important in like when we are talking about ML KYC interview. So these are very very important.
Guys, if you want to enhance the knowledge about non-fungible tokens, you can do the one training on Risk Pro India. It's a very deep knowledge in NFTs.
या
गुरुजी भाई की आवाज बहुत बहुत स्लो आ रही है मतलब।
गुरदीप, आपकी आवाज बहुत कम आ रही है, मतलब शायद माइक का कुछ इशू है, समझ में नहीं आ रहा.
Am I audible?
अभी भी बहुत कम आवाज आ रही है आपकी.
Am
वॉइस
I now?
वॉइस क्लियर आ रही है पर वॉल्यूम बहुत कम आ रही है.
Volume कम है.
हम्म.
Am I audible?
थोड़ा बेटर है, पर हाँ चलो, बताइए आप
Uh,
क्या.
you can do the training in Risk Pro India on NFTs. It can enhance the enhance your knowledge.
Okay, so if you want to get a better outlook on how NFTs work, so you can just do a training in Risk Pro India, as Gurdeep is telling us. Okay. So any doubt in this email KYC terms, because these are very very important, or shall we move to the transaction monitoring?
We shall move ahead. No doubt.
Okay. Okay. I'll be sharing you a final notes for AML KYC today itself. So these are the notes. Actually, it's a 400-page booklet in itself. Around 400 pages are there. So you can do one thing, just if you know, these are the KYC notes. Sorry, AML final notes. Mm, no. Okay. These are for foundation notes, not. I'll be sharing you one booklet, which is around 400 pages, and if you would be going through the booklet, then definitely you are good to go with any of the domain relevant knowledge. Okay. I think they are saved in my drive, so I'll be getting them. Don't worry. So for today, we'll be discussing about the TM, and for TM, we have this. This is a booklet for the final note part, and just a second, what happened? I don't know. Okay, these are the TM notes. These are the short notes. Okay, these are the final. Just a second. Mm, Okay, so these are the final notes actually for transaction monitoring, and we'll sharing these notes in today's after today's lecture itself, and we'll be discussing through our short notes only. Let it open. I think I need to just close few tabs in itself. Okay, so these are the transaction monitoring notes. So before that, guys, just Gurdeep, can you just discuss few things about transaction monitoring? I just need some water, so I'll be back in 1 minute only. Okay, I'm just coming in a second.
Yes. Okay. Guys, am I audible right now?
You are audible,
Yes,
but your voice is little bit low.
Okay. Guys, what is transaction monitoring? As you know that what is monitoring?
Monitoring the transaction.
Monitor the transaction. How? What type of transaction you have monitored? It's a current transactions or a past transaction?
The current transactions which have been flagged, like which is totally opposite to the customer's economic profile.
It's a partially correct. It's a current and a mixture of the transaction. The
past six
transaction,
months transaction as well.
yes, you can monitor the live transaction in the transaction screening part. There are two part: transaction monitoring and transaction screening.
Okay.
Which act is imposed in the transaction monitoring systems?
Is it Bank Secrecy Act?
It is dedicatedly dedicatedly launched by the US authorities, that is Bank Secrecy Act, to monitor the transaction. All the standards are given in this act for the transaction monitoring part. Hi Ratan. Hi Sanket.
Yeah, hi Gurdeep.
You Sanket, you can tell about the transaction monitoring part for all of the
Sure, sure,
guys.
sure. So hi guys. As Gurdeep has reiterated about the transaction monitoring. So transaction monitoring is a very important process in the aspect of the AML KYC. So transaction monitoring basically it is the process of tracking financial transaction in real time or on a periodic basis to detect unusual patterns that may indicate money laundering, terrorist financing, fraud, or other financial crimes. Uh, Transaction monitoring is divided into two aspects, as Gurdeep have told, like the real-time monitoring and the payment screening. In the payment screening, the live transaction is monitored, and uh, and uh, uh, and in the transaction monitoring part, according to the review period and according to the pattern of 6 months, transaction is to be monitored uh, of the customer. The key objectives includes, you can please write down, uh, like uh, to identify suspicious activity, like what suspicious activity indicates, like large cash deposits, rapid movement of funds, uh, and the second is to ensure compliance with the AML laws, like FATF guidelines, Financial Action Task Force guidelines, and local regulators, RBI, SEBI, FinCEN, FCA. Third is to protect the institution from reputational, financial, and regulatory risk. Okay, am I clear?
Yes,
Guys,
go
say
ahead.
yes. Yeah, say yes, no. So, uh, what is the transaction monitoring process? I am uh, I am pinging the transaction monitoring in the chat, like process in the chat box. You can go through.
Yeah, okay, guys, I'm back. Mm.
Yes, yes, Mukund.
Okay, so in the chat box, I'll share that with people.
Mukund.
Yes.
Yeah, I am sharing the transaction monitoring process in the chat box.
Okay.
Okay. So I have told them what is the what is transaction monitoring, what is the like uh, like the pattern of transaction monitoring,
Hmm.
and this is the transaction monitoring I process, and I can explain uh, too. Like
Hmm.
the first process begins with data collection. Uh, so in the first process, like we have to gather customer information through KYC and through customer due diligence. That is CDD, and the account activity, and we have to see the historical transaction and the pattern of the customer.
Hmm.
Okay. So in the second one, it is a rule-based and risk-based scenario. This is very important, and this will be asked in most of the interviews. What is the structuring? Like structuring is basically occurred when the customer split the transaction and to avoid reporting threshold. When the customer is doing the transaction up to 9,000 to 10,000 USD, but like like 9,000 to 9,999 USD, but he is not touching up to 10,000. So so he is following the pattern of structuring. Like he is not. like he is not like breaching the reporting threshold. Like he's consistently following the pattern of the 9,000 to 9,999, 9,000 to 500 USD. Okay, got it.
Okay, Sanket, that's a very great insight you have given. Okay, guys, so we are starting our transaction monitoring session for today itself. It's the third topic which we're gonna start. So before that, I just want to have few questions from you guys. Like we have completed the KYC. So is there anyone who is having anything or any doubt in the KYC or the topics which we have discussed in the KYC part? Is there anyone? Because guys, KYC is a very 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 important topic as far as your interviews are concerned, and interviewers are definitely going to ask you the very basics questions like what is KYC, what is end-to-end procedure for KYC, and types of KYC, and your what do you understand by CAP, CIP, CDD, EDD, difference between CDD, EDD, difference between source of wealth, source of fund. These are the like most asked questions in the interview for people who are actually looking for entry level roles, or even if they are looking for 2 to 3 years of experience folk, they would be questioning these basics questions, because AML KYC domain is not a very technical domain, and there are not lots and lots of things to discuss. So only few terms are there which they will be asking you. So please, we are discussing everything in very very detail and very very thoroughly. So please, if you have any doubt in any topic, you can discuss here anytime, no worries. And if you don't want to, you can connect with me anytime. I am available like anytime. For that, you can connect with me on weekdays, from 10:30 to 3:30 a.m. I am available, and in morning I am available from 9 a.m. to your 11 a.m. And for weekends after your classes, I am available full day. The schedule is same. Okay, so if you have any doubt, if you want refresher on anything or any topic is there which you guys are not understanding, so please you can connect with me. And like I can honestly tell you one thing, one more thing: learning every topic cannot get you a job here. Okay, so अगर आप सब पढ़ लेते हो, and if you will be like, I'll be giving my 100% in the training, and I'll be just covering each and everything, and will remembering everything, and will understanding everything, so bro, you are done. You will not be getting job based on that. If you want to get job, actually 50% is all about your knowledge and your theoretical aspect, and the 50% is your action taking. So how aggressively you are taking action, how aggressively you are applying. And in today's world, just applying cannot help you out. You can apply just sitting at home, and you can apply at 10,000 openings, and you will be rejected in all of those if things didn't work well. So for that purpose, you have to take some major practical steps, which include cold calling the HRs directly. Like, just don't think twice while cold calling the HRs, because भाई मारेंगे थोड़ी ना फोन में से बाहर आके. So just don't feel awkward while asking for yourself, because you are the one who are gonna pay your bills. कोई नहीं आ रहा, मैं भी नहीं आऊंगा. आपका क्रेडिट कार्ड का बिल भरने मुझे भी नहीं आना है. सो किसी को फर्क नहीं पड़ता. आइदर आफ्टर दिस ट्रेनिंग ऑल्सो यू वुड बी गेटिंग द जॉब और नॉट, नो वन केयर्स. नो वन हार्डली केयर्स actually. You are the one who has to care for yourself. You are the one who has to take actions. Just don't be lethargic. I know demotivation हो जाता है. Like people, it's a human nature. Like चीजें हाथ में नहीं होती है, तो we have a tendency to feel like okay अब नहीं होगा. But your last shot can be your best shot, or that can be actually your last shot. Like your next shot can be your last one. कि उसके बाद शायद इंटरव्यू देना ही ना पड़े, शायद उसके बाद किसी को कॉल ही ना करना पड़े, बट बिकॉज यू वुड बी हैविंग द ऑफर फ्रॉम द कंपनी. So please be motivated. Don't rely on the theoretical things. Just start taking actions. Just get your CV tailored. Just had a conversation with me. I'll tell you the right path, like how you can actually, uh, you know, uh, get into the domain. And just start taking actions. Because just take my personal like example. I am having relevant experience of just 1 year, and I am not getting that much opportunities in the market, because they want people who are having at least 2 years or 3 years of experience. So even if I am struggling, I am juggling. So I don't know, like the people who are from Delhi NCR, and they, if they are not here on the second Saturday for the AML right source interview, so I can tell you, like, you are not at all interested in your career at, you know, like, if you are not connecting with HRs, if you are not connecting with people on LinkedIn, if you are not applying actively, so sorry bro, the competition is very very high, the bars are high now. And it's not something, the traditional job which we are doing right now. MNCs are more than competition. So people are competing. MNC jobs are not something like okay हो जाएगा, मिल जाती है, MBA कर लेंगे मिल जाएगी. Just don't think like मेरी प्रोफाइल में ये दिक्कत है इस वजह से नहीं मिल रही है. Because people used to think like I'm just a graduate, I don't have the MBA degree, that's why I'm not getting the job. Bro, that's not the thing. Even I'm not having MBA, and I have changed the third job just based on my bachelor's of arts. In Indian education system, what do you think, like, is there any degree which is like degraded more than bachelor's of arts? But I have done bachelor's of arts, and I'm working in MNCs. So MBA is not the thing which is needed. Although I've completed LLB just now, but I have my three offer letters in 2 years just based on my bachelor's of arts degree. So guys, please be motivated. Please just don't lose the hope. Because in last batch, people are very very active in the group, and they are just sharing their experiences, they are sharing their resources, their numbers, the openings which they are getting, and they are sharing the certificates which they are doing. But in this batch, even I am not feeling like I am conducting a training or something, because people are not connecting with me, they are not messaging or calling me anytime. And they are, you know, they just don't I don't think you guys, I think you guys don't bother about your career at all. If you guys are not taking actions aggressively, so actually you don't bother. And after completion of the training, you would be like, okay, we didn't get anything, it's just some sort of a general training, kuch hua to hai nahi, and just it's a wastage of money. And I personally, if I am giving my 100%, and so I just don't want this feedback from you, just because you are lethargic, or just because you guys are not taking the action. So I just don't want that thing. I don't care how you guys are gonna do the certificates. I don't care how you guys are gonna connect with the HR, your hectic schedule, blah blah blah. I don't care. I want certificates on daily basis. And those who will be doing the certificates, those who will be connecting with the HRs, I'll be just doing civil tailoring for those people only. I just don't want to waste my time, because the time is precious and people are waiting to connect. Okay. So please,
Mukund,
yeah.
Mukund, how many of them have done the basic certificates and the pro ML certificates?
Like, I don't know. I don't think people are doing.
Guys, why you are not doing the certificates? As you see, the job market is very competitive, and since you are all working with retail banks, and you wanted to aspire to switch into a career with email like into email KYC domain, then you have to take the initiative. Without initiative, nothing is impossible. Like nothing is possible. So start doing the certificates. At least those certificates that are free of cost, like Pro ML one, the Basil Institute one. Basil Institute certificates are really good.
Yeah, definitely. So it's just a reminder, guys. Just don't feel demotivated. Like कुछ नहीं हुआ, 2 हफ्ते हो गए and all. भाई मैं 6 महीने से जॉब ढूंढ रहा हूँ, मेरे को तब जाके एक ही जॉब मिली है. एंड दैट्स अ बिट मोर देन रिस्कियर. आई कैन बी जॉबलेस इन like after joining email right source. So that's the sort of risk which the company is having. So jobs are not there in the market, so you have to constantly dig into things, and you have to constantly look for people. Just look, and the best way for getting a job in today's world is just directly connect with people on LinkedIn, and just directly message them for opening, and definitely you can get few things from there. Okay. So let's just start with our transaction monitoring part, guys. And this is all about the transaction monitoring. So from before starting, we have discussed KYC and even we have discussed AML also. So in the last class, we have discussed about AML around 3 hours. So anyone is there who is having any doubt in just basic questions I am asking? What is AML? Stages of AML? And the governance framework, the FATF guidelines and all those stuff. So do we have anyone which is having any doubt, who is having any doubt?
No, Mukund.
Okay.
No.
So we'll starting with the transaction monitoring today. So before starting, is there anyone who can tell me like what do you understand by the term monitoring itself?
Checking and reviewing something,
Yes.
verifying it properly.
Hmm. Or anyone?
Why only
Same
one
answer.
two guys speak?
Yeah, even only few people are there who are active. Guys, if you are not having that sort of confidence in the classes to speak,
What
so
about
how?
yeah? What about Pallavi?
I don't know. I think is so. What do you think? Like how you guys can get that edge over others in the interview itself? How you wanna speak in front of the interviewer, in front of the panelists, where two, three
The
managers are
work
sitting
also.
in front of you? What do you think? How you
What
guys
about
can cope
what
up with that?
what about Ankisha? Sorry, Ankisha, Asif Sheikh, Harshini. Are you guys
It's not
there?
very important. Yeah, we are here only, and I think it's not very important to say in every topic. We are here for learning, and I am doing my work that I have to learn. That's it. Not the other part of this, like what kind of a consequences. This is not the my work. So I know what I want to be here.
Okay.
Simply gathering us some knowledge, and that's it.
Mm. Yeah, if you have your if you have your focus clear, like why you are here, so definitely you can do things on that way. That's not a
Correct.
yeah.
Definitely, Asif. Definitely, we are not like saying anything against with regards to this. You can do the work.
Okay, so let's discuss about transaction monitoring. So, like we have discussed, like what is monitoring in itself. So, anyone who is having any idea, like what is transaction monitoring, as the term suggests? Okay, so I think I should just discuss. So, actually, transaction monitoring is just nothing. It's a process by which we review, analyze, and detect the suspicious financial activities in customers' transactions. To prevent the fraud or to prevent the terrorism financing or to prevent the money laundering activities. So whenever you are discussing about transaction monitoring with the interviewer, so try to include these terms like reviewing, analyzing, and detecting. These three terms should be there in your definition for transaction monitoring. So just tell the interviewer like it's the procedure of reviewing, analyzing, and detecting the suspicious financial activities in customer's account or in customer's transaction to prevent any sort of fraud, money laundering, or terrorism financing. Okay. So even as things are written here, also transaction monitoring is the continuous systematic process of scrutinizing customer financial transaction, including their deposit, withdrawals, and transfers and other financial activities to identify patterns or activities that deviate from normal behavior. Okay. So let's suppose if a customer is a salaried employee and what should be the normal behavior? So the normal behavior should be like general salary is getting credited, he's getting credit from his company, and thus he's doing his day-to-day expenses and all those stuff, and he's done for the month. But if there is some unusual transaction, if let's suppose if a person who is getting a salary of 50,000 rupees, suddenly now he's getting credits of like 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs, 5 like 1 crore, 2 crores or something like that. So it's a very unusual transaction the person is doing. It's a very unusual behavior. It is not matching with the profiling of the customer. And if let's suppose if the customer is doing rapid movements of fund, like amount is getting credited to his account and he's just debiting the amount in like within a minute or within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, the amount is getting debited. So actually for someone who is having a profile of a salaried employee, there is no way he must be involved in some sort of long pattern transactions for rapid movements of funds. Although if a current account is there, if someone is involved in business, or if the profile says like, okay, this is a corporate account or something, so definitely things can be there, and rapid movement of fund can be there, because the customer profile is actually uh, the customer profile is actually allowing, like, it's the profile of the customer. He can be involved in rapid movement of fund transaction, because business transactions are involved. So in transaction monitoring part, we have to review the transaction, analyze the transaction, and detect the suspicious financial activity or pattern in the customer's transaction. Okay. So any doubt in what is transaction monitoring?
मुकुंद, जैसे ट्रांजेक्शन मॉनिटरिंग जो हम लोग करते हैं तो वो कौन से क्लाइंट पे करते हैं? जैसे कि जो ऑलरेडी कस्टमर है उन पे करते हैं, या
हम्म
क्योंकि बहुत सारी अलग अलग कंपनीज है तो वो लोग रैंडम तो नहीं करती होगी ऐसे,
नहीं नहीं, वो
या
देखो, transaction monitoring is only done on those customers which are onboarded to us, and for only those transaction which are happening with our financial by using our financial system, our platform. Let's suppose you are holding an account with HDFC Bank, for context. So only HDFC Bank can only do your transaction monitoring for the account which you are holding with them, not for ICICI Bank or Axis Bank. सो आप जिस बैंक में अकाउंट आपका है, तो बैंक आपका ही उतना ही ट्रांजेक्शन मॉनिटरिंग कर सकता है जितनी ट्रांजेक्शन्स आपने उनके साथ की हैं, बिकॉज दे हैव नथिंग टू डू विद द अदर फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस. They are not investigators, they are just mitigating or just trying to identify the risk which is flowing through their organization. They have nothing to do with what is happening with the different organization, because governmental bodies are there जो ये सब देखती हैं. बट एज अ इंस्टीट्यूट, वी द मेन टास्क इज, मुझे एज अ बैंक, एज अ फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन, आई डोंट वांट माय कस्टमर्स टू बी इन्वॉल्व इन फाइनेंशियल फ्रॉड और इनटू मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग एक्टिविटीज बाय यूजिंग माय बैंक और माय फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन एज अ मीडियम. दैट्स व्हाई दे डू ट्रांजैक्शन मॉनिटरिंग. या लक्ष्य?
Transaction monitoring is done like on PEPs only. It is a part of EDD.
Yeah, for transaction monitoring is done for high risk customers, not just PEP. For high risk customer, we have different people, like politically exposed persons coming from high risk jurisdictions, or persons who are involved in high risk line of businesses, or the related persons. And so this is done for high risk clients, or if there is a pattern which is tracked by the system, by the algorithm system, so a trigger will be there. So this that will be a event based trigger.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's suppose you are a salaried employee, so you must be a medium or high low risk customer, and suddenly a pattern is there in your transaction from past 1 month, on daily basis or on weekly basis or something. What you are doing, you are getting a heavy credits from Dubai, let's suppose, and then you are just debiting the money within an hour. So money is getting debited within an hour. So it's a pattern which is suspicious, because chances are more like your account can be used as a mule account for doing the money laundering, or just for doing the integration part also in the money laundering activity.
Okay.
Okay, so this is, so any doubt in what is transaction monitoring actually is?
So it can be considered as a part of EDD, na?
As a part of ongoing monitoring after EDD. First, you
Fine.
onboard the customer after doing the CDD or EDD, whatever is required. If it's a high risk customer, then EDD is required at the time of onboarding. Then you are doing their ongoing transaction monitoring, which includes all types of your screening and your transaction, ongoing monitoring. So, which includes all types of your screenings and your transaction monitoring and all those stuff. Your KYC refresh and periodic reviews and rolling reviews, all these are part of ongoing monitoring. So
Okay.
transaction monitoring is also a part of ongoing monitoring, because we can only monitor the transaction of the customer which are already there with our with our institute, which are already doing transactions which are with our institution. Okay, so any doubt in transaction monitoring definition?
Hi, Mukund. I have a question here.
Yeah.
Like, not particularly related to TM. Actually, this was an interview experience.
Hmm.
So some time back, I gave an interview for BDO Rise,
Hmm.
and they asked me like everything related to the topic, and I answered that. So when they asked me like, what are the cases that you have worked on? So naturally, like I'm working in a domestic bank. So,
Hmm.
like I mentioned the case studies and all, but they were like you have the like you have been working on a domestic bank and the terminologies are different in you. So I
Hmm.
didn't get a positive like outcome from that interview. So like my question is, on daily basis we have the knowledge, we have the terminologies, and we are doing this course. But how do we incorporate the experience, the case studies, the everything on daily basis which we're doing in domestic banking into the interviews when we're sitting for an international bank?
Okay, so like in international banks, so what happens is they are more into doing transaction monitoring for different things like your credit cards. So there are specific teams which are doing transaction monitoring just for credit cards, and in the credit card part also there is different bifurcations like your consumer card or your business card or something like that. So if you are working in a domestic bank, so you should only discuss about individual transaction monitoring. Okay, so whenever don't discuss the case studies and all those stuff, because they are not asking about the case studies or anything like that. They don't want to know about the case studies, they just want to know like which type of workflow you are working on, because there are different workflows in global banks which can be related to your either your Marcus, US Marcus, or UK TMT, and then your cards transaction monitoring. That can be your business cards transaction monitoring, your corporate cards transaction monitoring, individual cards transaction monitoring is there. So there are different workflows. So as a domestic banker, when you are uh, telling them like I am working in transaction monitoring part, so just tell them I am part of a transaction monitoring team for individual customers. Okay. And we used to get triggers based on those are algorithm based triggers, and we used to get those triggers based on the suspicious pattern which is getting detected from the system. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, in that I had like I made a mistake. I talked about the non-individual
Yeah.
case study. So that
Yeah.
could have been.
Yeah, even like you can discuss like based on the red flags, we have to mitigate whether this transaction can be risk relevant or not, and we have to give the closing comment for every case.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Gurdeep, is there anything more you want to add on in this?
No, Mukul, it's very enough for all of the guys.
Okay. So, are you like, do we move ahead? Is there anyone who is having any doubt in the definition of transaction monitoring?
No, no, no.
Okay. So, you guys are aware, Maggie, what are the three main words which should be there? You can also make a note of that. Whenever you are discussing about transaction monitoring with the interviewer, just include these words: always reviewing, analyzing, and detecting suspicious activity or suspicious transaction. Reviewing, analyzing, and detecting. Okay. Now we have this primary objective. These are very general objectives which we have: detect suspicious activity, and just comply with the regulatory framework, and just mitigate the risk and building the trust. So you can just have a look on this. I don't think there is nothing to discuss in deep in that. Now we have the one of the most important thing. So how transaction monitoring actually comes into the picture. So it's a requirement from the BSA Act actually. So I think we have discussed about the BSA Act. So can anyone tell me like what is BSA Act?
It's an American act which is like used to prevent the money laundering activities
Mm-hmm.
and which tells us a threshold limit for the cash deposits.
Mm-hmm. So actually, like when BSA comes through the picture in 1970, so there are few requirements which BSA had made obligatory for all. So keeping the records, for all the transactions, and then filing the CTR. So CTR filing is also requirement from the BSA, and then reporting the suspicious activity which are indicating any sort of AML activity. So the third point, which is about reporting the suspicious activity to the relevant authority or to the relevant regulator, if there is any sort of AML activity, is a requirement by the BSA itself. And for identifying the suspicious activity, for identifying the unusual pattern, we have to do transaction monitoring. So that's how actually, because of the regulatory requirement to report the suspicious activity, transaction monitoring comes into the picture. Okay. So like I can better tell you one more thing. Like it is one of the key tools, or it is one of the key procedure which banks use to identify the suspicious activities. That's how BSA Act and transaction monitoring are correlated. Okay. Like we have the CTR. So those TMS which we have, transaction monitoring system, actually they are the ones which detect the cash transactions which are above $10,000, and then they generate the trigger on that TMS systems which we have. Then all the like how can I tell you better about transaction monitoring and BSA connection? Mm, Okay, so let's suppose there is one example I'm giving you. Let's suppose there is a customer, and he's just doing his general transaction and all those stuff. But suddenly, what happened is there is a spike in his transactions volume. So previously, he was just doing transaction which are about 100 transaction in a month, but now he's doing something about 300 or 400 transactions every month, and these things got caught by the transaction monitoring system and an alert is generated. And while mitigating the alert, the analyst comes to the conclusion like, okay, this can be risk relevant and this is risk relevant, and these are the proofs for that. And then SAR filing comes into the picture. So BSA Act has mandated, like SAR filing is a mandate. BSA Act requires to file the suspicious activity report, and to actually identify suspicious activity, suspicious transaction, we have to do transaction monitoring. So this is how BSA and transaction monitoring are related. So like anyone, any doubt?
And USA Patriotic Act is related with.
USA Patriot Act is also related with transaction monitoring in a sense. So when
It is related to the terrorism financing. The full
hmm,
form of USA Patriot Act, United and Straightening, providing the required tools for intercept obstruct terrorism. It is formed in the 26th October, uh, 2001.
yes. So like US Patriot Act is all about terrorism, identifying terrorism financing. So after the 9/11 Act on US, which I think you guys have also seen the documentary, which is very very great. I think available on Netflix itself. So this act comes into the picture after that, just to identify and detect the uh, terrorism financing acts. Okay. So, as far as the relationship of TM and Patriot Act is concerned, so if any sort of suspicious transaction is identified by the TMS system, and then we came to the conclusion, okay, this is an terrorism financing activity. So, the purpose of the Patriot Act is fulfilled by the transaction monitoring in that sense. Actually, transaction monitoring is the operational mechanism that enables the uh, f- financial institution to comply with the provisions of these BSA and Patriot Act. So it's actually that mechanism, that operational mechanism, which allows them to uh, comply with the regulations which these BSA Act and Patriot Act has
The
come up with.
system can be triggered when the transaction is doing by the user between 9,500 to $10,000
Hmm.
within a day.
Hmm.
It's a single transaction. It's a multiple transaction, just like 2,000, 3,000, 3,000, and 2,000,
Hmm.
and 2,500 also in the last. So it can combine or adding the transactions of dollar 9,500 it can be touched 9500 or in between $10,000. So the system can trigger all the transactions and trigger the system can trigger these this user can do the suspicious transaction, kindly investigate. This is a algorithm based system. If the user is doing over $10,000, the system cannot be trigger the transaction because the threshold is 10,000.
Okay, so just for an example, like how TM and Petroitect is concerned, I can tell you one thing. Let's suppose there is a customer who is sending international wire transactions to a country which is very high risk in terrorist aspect, which is a company which is known for terrorism activities. Okay, and then TM system will flag the transaction, and in the investigation part, if it is confirmed like okay, this is a transaction monitoring activity, then the provisions of Patriot Act are like the purpose of Patriot Act is resolved because they want to keep a check on all the things which are related to terrorism financing. So TMS transaction monitoring system is the operational backbone for US Patriot Act as well as the BSA Act. Whatever regulations which they have given, they are complied by using transaction monitoring systems. So
What
any
is the threshold of OFAC all over the world?
Below $10,000.
No, no, below $10,000. It's direct $1,000.
yeah, any transaction which is equal to or above $1,000 and involving sanctioned parties, they are needed to be reported or either they needed to be blocked.
Investigate properly.
Yeah, investigation is needed. If sanctioned parties are involved and a transaction is happening which is of more than $1,000 or equal to $1,000, then investigation is needed.
$10,000 is for BSA and US Petroid के अंदर 1,000 limit है.
No, no, no.
In OFAC
It's
1,000 limit.
OFAC limit is $1,000. CTR as cash deposit limit is $10,000. And for the terrorism, CSAM and the human trafficking, it's a zero.
Yeah.
It's not eligible for a $0 transaction. If
Ah,
0.1 cent can be sent, so the system can be triggered. The user or a customer can do the transaction on these three activities. So investigate for the full time.
एक्चुअली $10,000 तो मुझे क्लियर हो गया कि उस पे एसटीआर फाइल होती है.
Hmm.
जो
CTR
वन
फाइल
CTR ना?
होती है, CTR
सीटीआर
फाइल
फाइल
होती है.
होती है.
हम्म.
जो ये मतलब $1,000 है वो किस पे रिपोर्ट
OFAC,
करना हो?
OFAC,
It is for
OFAC,
OFAC. You can just
OFAC.
make a note of it. So for
और
yes,
ऑफेक.
BSA के लिए 3000.
sorry.
BSA के लिए जो थ्रेशोल्ड है वो 3000 है.
No,
वो
no, no.
$10,000 से है.
The
OFAC के लिए
CTR threshold is under BS. Look, don't get confused. There are three things we are discussing. One is your BSA Act, second is your Petroit Act, and the third is your OFAC sanction. So, just a second. Yeah. So for Petroit Act, for BSA Act, there is a requirement to file CTR for any cash deposit transaction which is equal to or more than 10,000 USD.
it's not equal, it's equal to or less in between $9,500 to
Yeah,
$10,000.
matlab trigger can be there if the transaction is even $9,500, but if you are telling to the interviewer, so the threshold is 10,000 USD.
Yes, yes.
Okay, for BSA Act, CTR filing only. Don't get confused between SAR, STR, and CTR. CTR is a different thing, STR is different, and SAR is different. So for currency transaction report, the threshold is $10,000, which is a requirement of Bank Secrecy Act. Okay, then comes your Petroit Act. So for activities which are relevant to terrorism financing, if
CSAM and
yeah,
human trafficking.
even CSAM and your human trafficking, if the amount involved is just 1 cent, there is no threshold. Zero threshold is there. If the amount involved is just 1 cent and the activity is related to transaction monitoring or something like that, then it is needed to be reported. Sorry, terrorism financing or CSAM activities, then it is needed to be reported. And for OFAC sanctions specifically, for if if two parties are transacting between each other and they are sanctioned parties, then a threshold of $1,000 is there. If any of the transaction, let's suppose me and Gurdeep, any one of us is sanctioned by OFAC, or we both are OFAC sanctioned and we are doing the transaction, so uh, we are doing the transaction with the country, so any transaction which is going to be above $1,000 is going to be monitored. So that's
This
the
is
major
for
difference.
if you are like transacting with a transacting sanctions party, then limit is $1,000.
Yes.
This
It's
comes
not
under
limit, it's a limit for doing the investigation part. Let's suppose you are a sanctioned person and you are doing transaction with someone in the United States. So whenever you are doing the transaction which is going to be above $1,000, so a monitoring is required, a thorough investigation is required, like why you are doing the transaction. So this is what it is. There is like it is not something ki wo karne nahi denge. It is something monitoring will be there.
You
this
can
comes
do it,
under
but
BSA Act. Yeah, this
It's for
comes
OFAC. This is for
it's
OFAC
for
sanctions.
OFSI framework.
Yeah,
sanction.
OFSI framework which we have
और
for OFAC sanction.
और पेट्रोइट एक्ट में अगर आपका 1 सेंट से भी ज्यादा अगर कुछ हो जाए,
1 सेंट्स भी नहीं कर सकते आप, 0.1 सेंट भी
Hmm.
नहीं कर सकते आपका।
ओके
1.1 सेंट भी कहीं सेंड हो रहा होगा इन 3 एक्टिविटीज में, तो
Hmm.
आपका सिस्टम ट्रिगर कर जाएगा। आपको इन्वेस्टिगेट प्रॉपरली थ्रोली करनी पड़ेगी, वो भी जब से आपका क्लाइंट या यूजर ऑनबोर्ड हुआ है आपके
Hmm.
फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन में।
Hmm. देखो, these are three different things. Please think practically. आप याद करने की और अगर आप इसको रटने की कोशिश करोगे तो नहीं समझ में आएगा. CSAM activities, terrorism financing activities, or your
ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग,
human trafficking activities, these are considered as inhuman. Like they,
टू
yeah,
डिस्ट्रॉय द ह्यूमन पार्ट।
yeah, these are considered as inhumanity. So for these activities, no threshold is there. If anyone is involved in these activities and only a transaction of 1 cent, not even a 1 cent is there, point 1 cent is there, and the activities related to these, so that is going to be reported under the Patriot Act only. Okay. For BSA Act, for we have a, regulatory requirement of CTR filing, currency transaction report filing, which is for $10,000, and we have to deposit if anyone is doing any transaction which is above $10,000, so it is supposed to be uh, reported. Okay. And for OFAC sanction specifically, if someone is OFAC sanctioned and they are doing the transaction, so if the transaction amount is more than 1,000 USD, then they are going to be uh, monitored, or their thorough investigation is going to be there. Okay. So do you guys get the difference? Like, what is the difference between all these three things?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And we have discussed like what is the connection of Patriot Act and BSA Act with the transaction monitoring. Okay, so in one liner, you can just understand transaction monitoring is the operational backbone for this BSA and Patriot Act, because the guidelines which they have given, the purpose which they wants to be resolved is getting resolved just by using the transaction monitoring mechanism. Okay, so you can just have a read on these. These are very, very general things. And now we can discuss about the risk-based approach.
Mukund,
Yeah.
we just want to know about on a real-time basis example.
Hmm.
As I've seen one of the video where how L1, L2, and L3 works. Can you please elaborate on this on a basis of any example? Suppose any trigger has been generated, how
Okay.
L1 works, and how it goes to L2, then later
Hmm.
L3, then final reporting.
Okay, okay, okay.
Anurag, it's first the transaction can be done by the user if the
Hmm.
algorithm has if the algorithm of the system has been fetch the transactions, alert got generated.
Gurdeep,
Yeah.
can you discuss this in like Hindi so that people can better understand? Because lots of people are there which are very new. So अगर आप थोड़ा हिंदी में समझा दोगे तो I think that would be more beneficial, because it's a very good topic to understand.
Okay. Firstly, the पहले तो आपका जो यूजर है या आपका जो क्लाइंट जो भी ऑनबोर्ड हुआ है उसने कोई भी ट्रांजैक्शन करी, आपके एल्गोरिदम में टच हो रहा है या आपका सिस्टम उस चीज को फैच कर लेता है तो अलर्ट जनरेट हो जाता है। अलर्ट जनरेट होने के बाद वो L1 के पास आता है। L1 इज अ इनिशियल स्टेज। जब तक L1 उस पे इन्वेस्टिगेट नहीं करेगा अकॉर्डिंग टू द पास्ट हिस्टोरिकल ट्रांजेक्शंस, इट कैन बी कैलकुलेटेड इफ जो भी आपकी ट्रांजेक्शन है, जो भी यूजर ने करी है वो आपकी करी है 25 मई को, सब लेट सपोज है 25 मई को करी है, उससे 60 डेज पीछे जाएंगे और 15 डेज प्लस करेंगे। दैट इज अवर रिव्यू पीरियड that can be followed in all the banks, in the global banks, just like it. सो रिव्यू करेंगे, आप उस चीज को देखेंगे, इन्वेस्टिगेट करेंगे, अपने नोट्स बनाएंगे, यहाँ से इतना डिपॉजिट आया, यहाँ इतना विड्रॉल किया, इतना क्रिप्टो में इन्वेस्ट किया, इतना क्रिप्टो की ट्रांजैक्शन मॉनिटरिंग करने के बाद आप लोग अपने नोट्स बना लेंगे। नोट्स बनाने के बाद आप प्रोफाइलिंग, यूजर ने जो भी आपके प्लेटफॉर्म पे प्रोफाइल बनाकर दी हुई है, जैसे ट्रेडिंग प्लेटफॉर्म पे हम यूज करें, बाइनेंस के पास अगर प्रोफाइल दे रखी है, मैं ये काम करता हूँ, मेरा ये नाम है, ये मेरा डिस्प्ले नेम है, जस्ट लाइक मेरा नाम जो है हरप्रीत सिंह है, मैंने डिस्प्ले नेम में HS दे रखा है, मैं HS के नाम से फेमस हूँ। तो HS के नाम से वो जितने भी बंदे फेमस होंगे ओसिन सर्च करके पता लगाया जाएगा कि ये बंदा कहीं इन्वॉल्व तो नहीं था, किसी भी कोर्ट केस में तो इन्वॉल्व नहीं है, कहीं इसके पास कोई भी, इसके ऊपर कोई भी ऐसी नेगेटिव एक्टिविटी तो नहीं इसने नहीं करी है। उसके बाद प्रोफाइल में जो लिखा होगा मैं इस चीज का ओनर हूँ, उसको भी ओसिंट के थ्रू जो देखा जाएगा वो रिसर्च किया जाएगा, पूरा प्रोफाइल बिल्डर्स, डिफरेंट डिफरेंट वेबसाइट्स, अगर किसी कंपनी का नाम भी दे रखा है उसने, इस कंपनी में मैं काम करता था पहले और अब छोड़ के मैं अपना ही ये काम कर रहा हूँ, अगर वेबसाइट दे रखी है तो आप उस पर रिसर्च करोगे, उसने जो वेबसाइट्स दे रखी हैं या कोई नेम दे रखा है, कोई उसमें फजी नेम तो नहीं है, स्किनी नेम तो नहीं है छुपाने के लिए अपने आप को। फिर उसके बाद आप उसकी जो कंप्लाइंस रिपोर्ट्स हैं, जस्ट लाइक अकाउंट स्टेटमेंट, वो डाउनलोड करके उसको इन्वेस्टिगेट करना शुरू करोगे, कितना डिपॉजिट हुआ, कितना विड्रॉल हुआ, कितना बाई सेल किया, कितनी ट्रेडिंग एक्टिविटी करी, क्या ये प्रोफाइल से उसके मैच कर रही है या नहीं कर रही। अगर मैच कर रही है तो दैट्स इट, इट इज क्लियर फ्रॉम द अलर्ट गॉट क्लियर्ड, यही आपका अलर्ट जो है आप क्लोज कर दोगे, रिजॉल्व कर दोगे उसको। अगर आपको कुछ भी इससे ज्यादा सस्पिशियस मिलता है कि टेररिज्म फाइनेंसिंग मिल गया, CSAM मिल गया, आपने फिर क्या करना है, जब वो हमारे सिस्टम में या अपने इंस्टीट्यूशन में ऑनबोर्ड हुआ था, जस्ट लाइक ऑनबोर्ड ऑन 2014, तो हम लोग क्या करेंगे, फिर उसकी जो एक्टिविटी रिपोर्ट है, आपका जो अकाउंट स्टेटमेंट है, वो आप कंप्लीट निकालोगे 2014 से लेकर आज तक, टिल डेट तक। फिर उसको इन्वेस्टिगेट करोगे एक एक पॉइंट को लेकर कि इसमें ट्रांजैक्शन जो थी इसमें यहाँ जा रही थी, यहाँ जा रही थी, तो ये 0.1 सेंट की है, तब भी आप एस्केलेट करोगे इस चीज को कि L2 को, ये ट्रांजैक्शन हमें पूरे हिस्टोरिकल रिव्यू करने के बाद आज तक का, तो हमें ये ट्रांजैक्शन मिली है जो कि टेररिज्म फाइनेंसिंग या बिग 3 एक्टिविटी से मैच करती जा रही है, तो फिर वो अपने लेवल पे इन्वेस्टिगेट करेंगे, डूइंग द कस्टमर प्रोफाइलिंग अगेन। कस्टमर प्रोफाइल को वो पूरा लिखेंगे, अपना ओसिन सर्च करेंगे, उनका ओसिन सर्च का मेथड थोड़ा अलग होता है L1 से, थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस रखते हैं। अगर उनको लगता है हाँ ये वाकई सस्पिशियस है तो फिर वो SAR या STR पे काम करते हैं, वो अपना ट्रिगर तो क्लोज करेंगे करेंगे, साथ के साथ SAR और STR भी ही बनाएंगे, नया नया जो टैब है वो ओपन कर देंगे SAR या STR का, फिर उसमें SAR और STR जो भी हो रही होगी उसको ड्राफ्ट करेंगे। ये काम मेरे ख्याल से सबसे ज्यादा करा हुआ संकेत ने। संकेत, आर यू अवेलेबल?
ये
Yes,
सब
Gurdeep.
ये सब L2 करता है।
यस, SAR और STR के बारे में बता देना।
SAR और STR.
टाइम पीरियड
Actually,
60 डेज का लिया जाता है ना?
actually SAR, actually in SAR, what happens? Like SAR is basically suspicious activity report. when we got a alert, we will review the alert, we will investigate it according to the review period and according to the customer profile. And if something is found like suspicious, suspicion in the sense like the customer is involved in like in the darknet market, customer is involved in the CSAM activity, customer is following a funneling behavior in the sense customer is dealing in the flow through transactions. Flow through means fund in fund out, like uh, uh, like money coming in, money going out, same day you deposit 700, same and same day you withdraw the same amount, same day you deposit 10,000 and same day you withdraw the amount. So this looks suspicious. So this looks a funneling behavior. This is the indication of a money laundering. So whenever we detect these things, so a suspicious activity report is prepared according to the transaction that are involved. Like we have to mark the transactions, and we have to and we have to present these transactions like in a star like a report, like and 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 according to the
Sanket,
FCU
Sanket,
involved financial.
I think
Yes, yes.
if possible, can you just discuss this in Hindi also so that more people can understand better?
Yes, हाँ, sure, sure, sure.
आई वांट टू
So
आस्क
actually,
वन थिंग कि ये इसमें 60 डेज का टाइम पीरियड लिया जाता है पहले।
नहीं नहीं नहीं, नहीं मैं आपको बताता हूँ। एक्चुअली इसमें एक रिव्यू पीरियड के अकॉर्डिंग होता है, बट इन L2 देयर इज नो कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ रिव्यू पीरियड। हम लोग लाइफ टाइम रिव्यू लेते थे। लाइफ टाइम रिव्यू का मतलब जब से वो अकाउंट खुला है तब से उसकी कंप्लायंस रिपोर्ट डाउनलोड होगी। आर यू गेटिंग इट?
हाँ हाँ, एक्चुअली
हाँ,
गुरदीप
तब
ने
से
पहले कुछ 60 डेज का बोला हुआ था तो इस चक्कर में।
60 डेज का रिव्यू पीरियड इसलिए होता है। 60 डेज का रिव्यू पीरियड L1 में होता था। जब से वो अलर्ट जनरेट हुआ है और उसकी लेटेस्ट जब से अलर्ट जनरेट हुआ है तो -60, और जो लेटेस्ट जो उसकी जो क्रिएशन डेट होती है अलर्ट, जो मतलब ट्रांजेक्शन की, उसमें +15 करते हैं। तो उससे उसकी वो कंप्लायंस रिपोर्ट पुल होती थी। ठीक है। बट हम L2 पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखें, लेवल 2 पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखेंगे, तो उसमें उसमें 60 +60 -60 +15 का कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं चलता है। उसमें लाइफ
टाइम
टाइम रिव्यू कंप्लायंस रिपोर्ट पुल होगी। जी।
हाँ जी।
हाँ, गुरुदेव आप कुछ बोल रहे थे।
L1 में रिव्यू पीरियड का कंसेप्ट होता है। जब थ्री
हाँ हाँ,
थ्री
L2 में L2
L2
में
में कोई कंसेप्ट नहीं है रिव्यू पीरियड का।
L2 में कोई रिव्यू पीरियड का कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं होता है। तो L2 में हमारे पास हमें लाइफ टाइम कंप्लायंस रिपोर्ट डाउनलोड करनी होती है कस्टमर की। उसका हमें ट्रांजैक्शन मॉनिटरिंग उसकी हम करते हैं। अगर हमें कुछ भी उसमें सस्पिशियस नजर आता है, उसका हम देख रहे हैं कस्टमर डार्कनेट में इन्वॉल्व है, कस्टमर फ्लो थ्रू बिहेवियर में इन्वॉल्व है। फ्लो थ्रू का मैंने आपको बताया था, रैपिड मूवमेंट ऑफ फंड, लाइक मनी कमिंग इन मनी गोइंग आउट। तो हम तो हम उसी के अकॉर्डिंग मतलब रिव्यू करते हैं, मतलब उसके ट्रांजैक्शंस, और उसके अकॉर्डिंग जो भी ट्रांजैक्शन उसमें उसमें होते हैं, उससे लिंक करते हैं, हम उसको हाईलाइट करते हैं, और वो और वही ट्रांजैक्शन का टाइम लिखते हैं, और और वही ट्रांजैक्शन का अमाउंट लिखते हैं, और उसका नैरेटिव बनाते हैं, और एक सार रिपोर्ट प्रिपेयर करते हैं। हम लोग फाइल नहीं करते हैं, हम लोग रिकमेंड करते हैं, ठीक, अकॉर्डिंग टू द अथॉरिटीज इन्वॉल्व। अथॉरिटीज FCA, लाइक यूके का FCA है, लाइक लाइक आपका कनाडा का फिनट्रैक है। ठीक है, समझ गए?
क्या करते हैं? फाइल नहीं करते, ईमेल करते हैं।
रिकमेंड करते हैं,
हम
हमारा काम रिकमेंड करने
शार्प
का होता है, फाइल
रिकमेंड
करने का।
करते हैं। फाइल
हाँ,
करने का काम
फाइल
L3
करने
का
का काम
होता है।
L3 का होता है।
L3 का होता है जो कि आफ्टर MLRO
तो
अप्रूवल होता
रिकमेंड
है।
आप L3 को करते हैं।
रिकमेंड
हम रिकमेंड
सिर्फ हम रिकमेंडेशन करके सिस्टम में हम कह देते हैं हमने रिकमेंड कर दिया है। इसकी जो चेकिंग करेगा वो MLRO करेगा। MLRO
MLRO
जब तक
करेगा।
MLRO जब
MLRO क्या होता है? मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग रिपोर्टिंग ऑफिसर।
जब तक वो उस चीज को कहेगा नहीं कि जो रिकमेंडेड आपने सार रिकमेंड करा है और STR रिकमेंड करा है वो करेक्ट है, वो L3 के पास नहीं जाएगा रिपोर्ट होने के लिए। क्योंकि L3 काम करता है, आपका रॉ मटेरियल उठाता है, रॉ मटेरियल जो जो आपने लिखा है वो करेक्ट है या नहीं है, वो अपने लेवल पे चेक करता है। उसके बाद एमएलआरओ का अप्रूवल भी चेक करता है, एमएलआरओ ने क्या लिखा है, क्या ये दोनों चीजें मैच कर रही हैं या नहीं कर रही हैं। ये दोनों चीजें मैच कर रही हैं, इट मींस ये सच में सस्पिशियस ट्रांजैक्शन होगी। उस चीज को वो कहाँ रिपोर्ट करता है, वो गवर्नमेंट पोर्टल्स पे अपलोड करता है जाके, कि ये ट्रांजैक्शन इस डेट पे, ये ट्रांजैक्शन इतने की हुई थी, दिस इज सस्पिशियस, दिस इज नॉट मैचिंग विद द कस्टमर प्रोफाइल। वो अपने रिकमेंडेशन दे के अपना लिखकर उसको सबमिट कर देता है। उसके बाद वो डिपार्टमेंट के पास चली जाती है फाइल्स सारी।
ये बेसिकली L1 L2 L3 एक हायरार्किकल पोजीशन होती है।
यस यस।
यहाँ पे L3 का तो फिर L3 के पास तो कुछ गया ही नहीं, तो फिर वो MLRO के पास जाके फिर गवर्नमेंट पोर्टल में चला गया, फिर वहां से तो
हाँ, तो L3 का काम ही गवर्नमेंट पोर्टल्स पे उस चीज को शो करना होता है जो कि एमएलआरओ अप्रूव कर रहा है।
अच्छा।
हम्म।
गाइस आपको समझ में आया है ना जो मैंने और
अगर
गुरदीप ने आपको
अगर
बताया है?
अगर आपका L2 लेवल पे कोई भी चीज आपने रिकमेंड करी है, एमएलआरओ के पास गई, एमएलआरओ ने कहा कि ये चीज मेरे को, ये चीज ऐसी मिली है, ये चीज में हमारा डिफरेंस है, तो वो क्या करेगा, L2 एजेंट के पास जाएगा, इसको करेक्ट करके सार को आप खत्म कर दो, बिल्कुल सार वाला टैब इसको कैंसिल कर दो, वो वहां से फाइल ही डिक्लाइन कर देगा। अपने रीजन डाल देगा, ये रीजन है, इस वजह से मैंने करी है, ये पॉइंट ऐड इसमें होने चाहिए, तो ये सार नहीं बनेगी, ये सार कैंसिल करवा दिया जाए, रिकमेंडेशन।
तो ये जो केस होगा ये फॉल्स मैच करके क्लोज होगा, ऐसा कुछ है?
हाँ हाँ, वो आपकी L1 की पूरी उठाता है हिस्टोरिकल, L1 ने क्यों एस्केलेट किया, फिर L2 ने इन्वेस्टिगेट किया, L2 ने क्यों एस्केलेट किया, क्या ये चीज मैच कर रही है। उसके बाद वो अपनी इन्वेस्टिगेशन लगाता है साथ में। हर चीज का प्रूफ चाहिए, सोर्स हर एक चीज का चाहिए। L1 ने क्यों किया, L1 अपना सोर्स दे देगा कि मैंने इस वजह से इस चीज को एस्केलेट किया, L2 पर इन्वेस्टिगेट होना था। L2 ने क्या इन्वेस्टिगेशन करी, वो अपना सोर्स लगाएंगे, सारा का सारा सारे डॉक्यूमेंटेशन लगाएंगे, भैया हमें ये चीज मिली, ये चीज मिली, ये चीज मिली, और ये चीज गलत थी, तो हमने इस पे सार का रिकमेंडेशन किया है, तो उसके रिपोर्टिंग्स लग जाएंगे। फिर वो रिपोर्टिंग्स एमएलआरओ के पास चले जाते हैं सारे, वो प्रॉपर फाइलिंग बन जाती है L1 L2। देन एमएलआरओ के पास जैसे ही जाता है, तो एमएलआरओ क्या करता है, पहले L1 का जो जब ट्रिगर्ड हुआ था सिस्टम में, क्यों ट्रिगर्ड हुआ था वो देखता है। उसके बाद जो देखता है वो देखता है आपका L1 की इन्वेस्टिगेशन क्या कह रही है। यस, L1 ने बिल्कुल सही इन्वेस्टिगेट किया, दैट्स एट मूव्स टू द L2 की इन्वेस्टिगेशन। नहीं, L2 की इन्वेस्टिगेशन में ये दिक्कत है, इसने ये यहाँ पे ये चीज छोड़ दिया है या भूल गया लगाना, इस वजह से इसने सार रिकमेंड कर दिया, पर सार रिकमेंड नहीं होना चाहिए था। वो अपनी इन्वेस्टिगेशन भी करेगा, और आपके इन्वेस्टिगेशन में कहाँ आपने क्या चीज छोड़ी है वो चीज लिख के देके वो डिक्लाइन कर देगा। वो फिर आपको चेंज करना पड़ेगा कि सार पॉजिटिव नहीं है, सार नेगेटिव है। ऐसा ही है संकेत।
हम हाँ बिल्कुल ऐसा ही है। मतलब हम उसमें हम सार रिकमेंड करते हैं, सार और एसटीआर, बट हम फाइल नहीं करते हैं। रिकमेंडेशन अलग होता है, फाइल करने से अलग। अगर एमएलआरओ को लगेगा ये सार इसमें जरूरी नहीं है, तो वो वापस भेज सकता है हमारे पास।
वो अपनी फाइंडिंग्स लिख के भेज देगा, और वो ये भी बता देगा कि L2 एजेंट ने या एनालिस्ट ने कहाँ उस चीज को मिस किया है, जो चीज मिस हुई है उस वजह से सार नहीं जा रही है, तो हमें चेंजेस करने पड़ेंगे, और सार वाला टैब बंद कर देंगे, हम लोग उठा के कैंसिल कर देंगे। उस पे कमेंट्स डाल देंगे कि एमएलआरओ हैज नॉट अप्रूव्ड द सार रिकमेंडेशन ड्यू टू दिस रीजन, और वी कैन चेंज अवर इन्वेस्टिगेशन रिपोर्ट एज पर द
ये
एमएलआरओ।
MLRO गवर्नमेंट बॉडी है क्या?
एमएलआरओ गवर्नमेंट बॉडी नहीं होती। एमएलआरओ एक तरीके का एक ऑफिसर होता है, L2 और L3 के मेडिएटर में काम करता है।
हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का अपना अपना
हाँ,
होता है वो।
हमारा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का अपना होता है। L3 जो भी रिपोर्ट करता है वो गवर्नमेंट को डायरेक्टली रिपोर्ट हो जाता है, क्योंकि वो पोर्टल पे चढ़ गया। अगर आपका कोई चीज पोर्टल पे चढ़ गई, वहां से डिलीट करना मुश्किल है। उस चीज को बचाने के लिए गवर्नमेंट बॉडीज ज्यादा इन्वॉल्व ना हो यूजर के अंदर, तो यूजर और फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन के बीच में, इस वजह से एमएलआरओ रखना पड़ता है।
वो
मतलब हर
जस्ट
स्टेप में क्रॉस चेक होते रहते हैं।
हाँ, क्रॉस चेकिंग बहुत जरूरी है। एक भी आपका गलत हो गया ना तो उसकी पेनल्टी बहुत भारी होती है, पेनल्टी इतना होता है उसका जितना आप सोच भी नहीं सकते।
और ये L1 L2 L3 हर फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूट में होता है, मतलब ये मैकेनिज्म रहता है।
हाँ
सब में होता है।
इन
ये L1 ही
कंट्रीज
करके पुकारते हैं, ये क्या है नेम इसका, क्या रहता है?
लेवल 1।
लेवल 1।
हम लोग जो जॉब्स करते हैं, जॉब्स विच वी डू, वी आर डूइंग लेवल 1 जॉब्स, देन देयर इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग विच इज लेवल 2 जॉब्स, देन वी
लेवल
दे
2
वी
या एस्केलेशन डिपार्टमेंट होती है।
एस्केलेशन डिपार्टमेंट इज देयर।
एस्केलेशन डिपार्टमेंट ही क्यों बोलते हैं उसको, क्योंकि जो भी L1 से
एस्केलेट
केस
होता है।
एस्केलेट केस होता है वो एस्केलेशन डिपार्टमेंट के पास जाता है कि ये चीज हमने एस्केलेट करी है, इस वजह से करी है, क्या ये वजह सही होंगी, तो वो अपना इन्वेस्टिगेशन रखेगा, हाँ ये चीज सही है, वो रिकमेंड कर देगा सार या एसटीआर जो भी रिकमेंड हो रहा होगा। जब गलत होगा तो वो वाला ट्रिगर वो हमारे पास सेंड बैक नहीं करता, वो अपनी इन्वेस्टिगेशन करने के बाद वो ट्रिगर वहीं क्लोज कर देता है, वो आगे नहीं जाता।
तो
आगे आपको समझ में सबको?
ये हायरार्किकल ऑर्डर होता है, कैसे कोई भी एस्केलेशन कैसे डील की जाती है, आइदर इट्स रिलेटेड टू ट्रांजैक्शन मॉनिटरिंग और योर ऑनगोइंग मॉनिटरिंग पार्ट, और like any of the finding, if there is any finding in L1 level, so then there is L2 level, then we have MLRO, then L3 level, then they file it with the FIUs, and then FIUs file it with the their departments,
हम्म।
concerned department. So this is the chain actually. So any doubt in that?
No, Mukund, but after the class, if you can quote any example, कोई real time,
रियल
और
टाइम में
जैसे हम इंटरव्यू में बैठते हैं, कुछ ऐसी चीज ही पूछ ले वो, आपने क्या किया हुआ है, L2
देखिए,
में क्या
अगर
होता
आप
है, L3 में।
इंटरव्यू में
देखो
बैठते हैं,
इंटरव्यू में बैठोगे आपको बेसिक क्वेश्चन ही पूछेगा, बट
नहीं,
आपकी नॉलेज के लिए हम बता रहे हैं L1 डिपार्टमेंट ये होता है, L2 ये होता है, L3 ये होता है।
देखिए
कई बार
एज
आप
अ
डिस्कशन में, जैसे आप इंटरव्यू में बैठे नहीं है, बाहर बैठे हैं, इंटरव्यूअर आपके पास नजर रखे हुए हैं, हाँ ये बंदा कुछ डिस्कशन कर रहा है, जैसे आपका एडवांटेज लेने के लिए आपने L1 की बात छेड़ दी या L2 की या MLRO या L3, तो इट मींस कि इंटरव्यूअर को ये दिख जाएगा, ये एडवांटेज देगा कि हाँ इस बंदे ने वाकई काम किया हुआ है, इसे इतना डीप पता है कि ये चेन कैसे हायरार्किकल ऑर्डर में चलती है।
देखिए अनुराग, होता क्या है मैं आपको बताता हूँ। Like when we are working in ML KYC domain, so we can't be having exposure of each and everything, so interviewer is also aware of that. If you will be thinking yourself as over smart and आप ये बोलोगे कि like I have worked on every level, like I have worked on L1 L2 and then MLRO and all those stuff, so definitely वो तो आपके ऊपर backfire हो जाएगा. So whenever you are sitting in an interview, so they can ask you like how things happen. So the example can be something like that. Let's suppose there is a customer which is a salaried employed, and we are there are few triggers because there is a spike in the transactions, or he is transacting money to some t- terrorism activity involved country. So there is a trigger, and the L1 thinks like, okay, this is a escalation, so they escalate it to L2, the escalation department, and then the L2 department do their thorough research, their thorough investigation, and if they also comes to the conclusion like, yes, this is these transactions are related to terrorism financing, so they move further, they file further with the MLROs, and if the MLROs find the same, then they file with the level 3, and then level 3 check both reports, one from MLRO, one from L2, and if they also find like, okay, this is the activity, then they further upload these on the FIUs portals, and then FIUs do their investigation. And if FIUs also find like, okay, this is an terrorism financing activity, then FIUs file that with the concerned authority. So this is the procedure.
Uh,
So basically,
yes,
it's
guys,
like
Mukul.
first L1, L2, then MLRO, then L3.
Hmm.
Yes, Laksh, actually first is L1. L1 is level 1. Level 1
Okay.
analyst. We are we are sitting in the level 1 analyst. Okay.
Okay.
So L1, when L1 detects an suspicious activity, then only he will escalate to L2. Without escalation, L, L2 can't do anything. Am I
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
And
Without
if L1 finds that trigger is false, then the case is closed at that
Yeah,
point only.
then we
Yes,
can
yes, yes.
mitigate.
then definitely alert is mitigated.
Hmm.
Okay.
We have to write an analysis of risk, we have to write a rational statement, and the alert is mitigated.
A closing statement is there, and it is mentioned like on what factors you are mitigating the
Yeah,
trigger.
Mukund, I am giving us in like I am sharing a sample like analysis of risk to them.
Hmm.
Like suppose like the alert is generated like based on our findings, the alert is generated for
Premium,
blockchain
yeah.
screening very high. Yeah, blockchain screening very high. Okay, like customer has been triggered for this and this. Okay, like according to investigation we have found it, customer is employed with this company, and he has served as a CEO, and his net worth is this. Uh, so according to the so, so according to the findings of the risk involved, the customer is not involved in the like the OFAC and the OFAC related things. So the alert can be clearly mitigated, and the risk can also be mitigated. Okay.
Just a
Yes.
second, one question. May I know for which institution you all are working exactly, for the domestic or for international?
For
For international.
internationals.
Mukund, for you,
Yeah. I'm also
you also
working for
working
a investment bank.
investment banking for the which organization
No,
or like for the which entity?
no, I just can't disclose the name, We
No,
have,
no, it means you are working for the proper financial institution or a
yeah,
particular bank.
it's one of the biggest investment bank available in the world.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
L3 का काम सिर्फ फाइल करना होता है जब MLO रिव्यू कर ले.
No, no, it's not just about filing. So when MLRO review is there, so what they do is they will further, L3 will investigate further from the reports of L1, L2, and MLRO also. Whatever the findings they have given, so they will investigate it, and then if they find like okay, this activity should be raised, so they'll do that.
Okay.
Mukund, who is asking like which entity we are working?
Asif.
No, no, I am.
Asif,
Actually, I also work for the few of the institution earlier also, and some of the
Asif,
different kind of.
if you have worked in the institution, then due to integrity issues, we can't disclose the identity. I hope you get it.
It's not about the integrity. I was just asking from the basic prospect, for the which way
Mm-hmm.
that you have been come on this point, because I also work earlier, and some of the different points would be there.
Yeah, like
So just wanted to
I got
clear.
your point. Just I'm working for a investment bank, and like off the record, I can definitely tell you everything. But bro, there are few things which we just can't disclose. So, but yeah, if you want to
Definitely.
know, you can
And
just
that's why,
connect.
yeah, and that, yeah, and that's why, like we are saying this.
Hmm. Yeah, there are
Okay,
few
okay,
restrictions
not
which
the
are
issue
there.
on that.
And
It's okay. It's a basic. It's all right.
Mukund, everyone is there. Please clear regarding the tagging thing also, live.
Yeah, like guys, if you are uploading posting anything on LinkedIn, so please just tag MLH only. Please avoid to tag me, Sanket, or Gurdeep, anyone. Okay.
Okay, okay.
So this is the risk-based approach. So shall we guys move ahead because already 2 hours are there and we haven't started TM.
Actually, guys, have you got clear regarding the star and regarding the L1, L2? Any
Yes,
questions?
yes, no doubt.
Guys, this is a this is a standard review. Like this is standard process. Interviewer will not deep dive into it because they also know that you guys are new into this. They just wanted to check the basic understanding.
Hmm.
L3 तक जाने तक तो बहुत एक्सपीरियंस होना चाहिए ना.
Like people who have
Definitely,
working
definitely.
in the field for like 20-25 years, they are working on L3 levels. Okay, so we'll discuss about risk-based approach. So, as far as the risk based approach is concerned, so previously what used to happen is banks or financial institutions doesn't prioritize the risk which the customer is possessing with onboarding to the entity. Okay. And due because of that, AML activities are increasing and all those stuff is going on. So FATF comes with the recommendation, like every bank should use this risk based approach while onboarding any of the customer. And what risk based approach says, it says like every financial institution should prioritize the resources and controls based on the level of the risk associated with the customer. Okay. So whenever we are onboarding a customer, so we should know like what sort of risk the customer is possessing, and based on that risk only we should prioritize the resources which we will be giving to the client. We should prioritize the services, uh, the controls which we will be giving to the client based on the profile of the customer only. Okay. Because we just can't apply universal like what you say, universal control over all clients. Someone, if someone is having low risk customer profile, so doing their transaction monitoring or screening them day and night is not at all possible, or it's not at all required. But if someone is a high risk customer, so it is required in their case. So we just can't what do you say, we just can't apply any uniform control over each and every one. So because of that we have to do risk profiling of the customer, and this is what risk based approach is all about. Okay. So you know what, if the key points you want to remember from risk based approach, so those key points are like, it is for risk identification, for risk assessment, and for risk mitigation. These are the three key principles or key points which are there for risk based approach.
Mukund, can you please repeat what are the 3 points?
The first is your risk identification, means identifying your potential risk uh, regarding money laundering. Okay. Then your risk assessment, assessing the risk of the customer, whether it's a low risk, medium risk, or high risk customer. And then mitigating the risk, and how we mitigate the risk actually. For high risk customer we conduct EDD, and ongoing monitoring is there for them. And for medium and low risk customer we do their CDD, and standard periodic reviews are there for them.
Repeat the last point after risk assessment.
It's risk mitigation.
Well, we have to mitigate the risk.
And for that purpose, what we do, for high risk customer, we do ongoing monitoring and EDD. And for low and medium risk customer, we do CDD and periodic reviews. Periodic reviews as in periodic base triggers. Like after every 5 years, we do it for low risk customer, 3 to 5, 4 to 5 years, and for medium, we do it for 2 to 3 years. Okay.
Yes, got it.
So, like for example, I can just for your better understanding, I can tell you, uh, risk-based approach is all about categorizing the customers. So, if a customer is a PEP, then he is going to be into high risk category. If a customer is some local businessman or just doing, moderate activities, so he is going to be into medium risk category. And if a customer is a salaried employee or some government employee, so he is going to be in the low risk category. So, like in one shot, I can tell you one thing, rather than thinking like one size fits all approach, we have to uh, we have to bifurcate people depending on the risk which they possess. Okay. So any doubt in risk based approach, like what it is, because it is also a very important question as far as interviews are concerned.
Risk identification is like a basic red flag you came to know, like suspicious transaction
Hmm.
is occurring.
Risk identification is all about like what sort of money laundering risk this transaction can be having, or this person can be having, this product can be having. Let's suppose we if we are giving credit to any jeweler. who's involved in business of jewelry or precious metals or gems. So definitely the product which we are giving him, the let's suppose we are giving him a cash credit limit or something, so the product is going to be high risk for that person, because we have already risk assessed the person as a high risk customer. And if we are giving the same product, the same cash credit limit to a person who is just a retailer or some small businessman, then it is not going to be a high risk product because the customer is not high risk. That's why risk based approach is important, because we have to treat customer the way they are supposed to be. Like, we have to treat customer depending on their risk profiling. If the customer is a high risk, then higher scrutiny is needed. If a customer is a low risk, then that much scrutiny and that much EDDs and screenings are not required. That's why we do risk assessing, and that is what risk based approach is. To not just fall for making profits, also try to mitigate the money laundering risk. Okay. So any doubt in risk based approach? If you want, you can just have a quick read of this also, and you have any doubt, because in layman language I have already told you like what risk based approach is all about.
This first paragraph एक बार explain कर दोगे? One size fit out compliance towards
This
customized.
one.
हाँ, this
Okay.
one.
So the risk-based approach represent a fundamental shift from traditional one-size-fits-all compliance framework to customized methodologies that align AML control with specific risk profiles. So मैं आपको हिंदी में समझा देता हूँ बहुत अच्छे से. देखिए, ट्रेडिशनली क्या होता था, banks used to think like everyone is same, one size is fitting all, like one sort of uh, uh, scrutiny is fitting all. For low risk customer, for high risk customer, for medium risk customer, they are not bifurcating anyone. For a PEP, they are doing the same level of investigation, same level of due diligence which they are doing for a salaried employee. So this is what used to happen previously. But now what risk based approach tell them, they tell them like shift from this traditional approach and customize your rules, your regulation in a way that are aligned to the AML controls with specific risk profile. So what this specific risk profile tells? This tells the bifurcation of risk between low, medium and high risk depending on different factors. So रिस्क बेस्ड अप्रोच ये बोलता है कि आप ये ना सोचें. अब देखिए, मैं आपको वैसे समझाता हूँ. देखिए, आपको हम टीच कर रहे हैं, तो हमारे पास मान लीजिए 50 स्टूडेंट्स पढ़ रहे हैं. सो ट्रेडिशनली अगर हम लोग सोचें तो हमारी अप्रोच ये होनी चाहिए कि हम लोग सबको जो पढ़ाते हैं सबको सेम पढ़ाएं. पर सबकी ग्रेस्पिंग पावर अलग होती है, सो हमें सबके साथ अलग तरीके से अलग तरीके से आप लोगों के साथ डील करना होता है उनकी बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए. सो सेम थिंग इज विद द बैंक्स. ट्रेडिशनली वो लोग क्या करते थे, दे यूज टू ऑनबोर्ड द कस्टमर एंड दे यूज टू डू सेम ड्यू डिलिजेंस फॉर ऑल ऑफ कस्टमर्स. ओके. बट नाउ व्हाट रिस्क बेस्ड अप्रोच आई टोल्ड देम, रिस्क बेस्ड अप्रोच ये बोलती है कि आप इस चीज को चेंज करो और आप रिस्क प्रोफाइलिंग करके कस्टमर की देन उनको डिफरेंट डिफरेंट रिस्क प्रोफाइल में डालो, हाई मीडियम रिस्क, हाई लो और मीडियम रिस्क में, एंड देन उस हिसाब से उनका ड्यू डिलिजेंस करो. सो दिस इज व्हाट रिस्क बेस्ड अप्रोच इज. एनी डाउट लक्ष्य?
बेसिकली जो ट्रेडिशनल जो हम कॉन्सेप्ट देखते थे कि सबको एक ही कैरेक्टराइज में करो, हमें बल्कि इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड्स के हिसाब से चलना है, जो मतलब जिसमें अलग अलग बाइफिकेट किए हुए हैं.
देखो, ये जो इसको जेनरिक लो, इसको डोमेस्टिक और उसमें कंफ्यूज मत करो.
अच्छा अच्छा, ठीक है.
पहले ग्लोबली भी यही होता था. इनिशियल फेज में ट्रेडिशनल बैंकिंग में यही फंडामेंटल था कि सबको एक ही उसमें वो लोग भी करते थे. बट एज रिस्क बेस्ड अप्रोच आई, जो कि एफएटीएफ ने रिकमेंडेशन दिया, उसके बाद से फिर ये रिस्क असेसिंग और ये चीजें आने लगी. Got it? So anyone, anything to discuss in risk based approach?
No, no.
Yeah, because interviewer will generally ask this question like, what do you understand by risk based approach? Okay, now we have this. Let me just have a look like what is happening. Monitoring rules and techniques. Okay. Scenario building and rule creation. Okay, okay, okay. So the next topic is all about actually now we are starting with the transaction monitoring procedure. Okay. So we have discussed the what is transaction monitoring and the regulatory framework which is involved in transaction monitoring. Then we have discussed the risk based approach, why transaction monitoring is there, just because हमने risk assessing किया है customers का, and now we have high risk customers with us, so we have to do the transaction monitoring for them. We have event based triggers, so we have to do transaction monitoring for them. Now we are starting with the transaction monitoring procedure. The very first step is your data collection and integration. So as the word is suggesting data collection and integration, so what do you understand like what it can be? It is a step of transaction monitoring. It's a process, first step in process of transaction monitoring.
इंटीग्रेशन मतलब?
Integration matlab, to integrate the data in our system as a financial institute, we need the data and we need to integrate the data in our system.
Okay.
देखिए, the very first step is data collection and integration. So what it tells is it's all about knowing the customer and collecting the data and just putting the data on the actual uh, s- space where actual place where it is supposed to be. So let's suppose whenever we are onboarding a customer, so we onboarded the customer with we take different documents like their KYC documents we take, and there are few forms which are supposed to be filled, few declarations are there. So in the transaction monitoring part also, whenever we are doing transaction monitoring or we are starting to doing transaction monitoring, we have to collect the data. The very first source is your core banking system which we are having, like the account information we have, transaction history we have, customer profile we have, because customer is transacting with us, and in the KYC step itself, in the very first step of the KYC, in the CIP step itself, we have onboarded the customer, then we have done it CDD also and EDD also. So while onboarding, we have collected lots and lots of data about the customer. So this is the first source which we use while doing the transaction monitoring. While uh, for mitigating, we have to use different factors. We have to have some profile of the customer. Look, you know why it is important actually. So अब आपको थोड़ा थोड़ा अंदाजा होगा कि क्यों end to end KYC में CIP CDDs are considered as one of the most important part, because let's suppose while onboarding a customer, we have flagged a customer as a low risk customer, but the customer is supposed to be high risk customer. So then what will happen होगा ये कि if there is some unusual pattern that can go untriggered by the system because the profile is low risk, ये होता है. So जब भी हम CIP करते हैं तो it is very very crucial. And you know, while collecting the document, why it is crucial to collect each and every document, why banks ask you for Aadhaar card on and all the documents, passport and everything, and they want everything to be perfect, because when while doing ongoing monitoring, when as an analyst we are looking for the information, let's suppose we are looking for the information and we have the passport, but the image of the passport is not clear, so we just can't get information from the passport. We just can't get the date of birth from the passport itself. So that's why all the documents are which are collected at the CIP stage are like very very crucial for continuing the relationship with the customer, because you just can't ask customer documents again and again after onboarding and all those stuff. If you would be asking about the customer, sir, we would be needing your passport, so definitely that will raise a red flag for him. He will be more than aware like something is going on. So we should have all the documents in a
क्या हाल है मनीष भाई?
perfect way.
बस बढ़िया. क्लास चल रही
Okay,
थी. गुड आफ्टरनून. अब बताओ. क्लास चल रही थी, मैंने कहा
Gurdeep.
मनीष को फोन ही कर लें.
अरे Gurdeep.
थैंक यू की बात है भाई. एक चीज है, आप लोगों को मैं ना
Okay. So this is why data collection and integration is important. The second source is your payment system. So whenever you are transacting, whenever you are doing the payments, आप card swipe करते हैं, whenever you are doing wire transfers, any card transaction, any digital payment, so those transactions are getting stored actually in the system. So whenever you are doing transaction with your Paytm or any of the application you are using, so all the transactions are getting stored. So that is also a very very good source for getting the data or for getting the information. And then your KYC CDD data, which I have already told you, while we are doing the customer identification, so we have to do the due diligence and everything should be clear in the very first onboarding itself. Because after onboarding the customer, when there is a suspicious activity is there, so we need to get information about the customer, we need to get the profiling of the customer and documents of the customer specifically. And those data, those document, those profiling is only available when we have done the KYC or we have done the CDTTD part. So that's why they are considered very very crucial, because without correct information we can't just come to the correct conclusion. Okay. So this is just the very first step which we have, data collection and integration. And you can just have a read, and if you have any doubt, I'll telling you like how open search is done on live basis, or how Ocean search we do. And these are the integration requirement. Because why integration is data integration is required, why all the data should be integrated. Those who are working in banks, do we have anyone who is working in bank here?
Yes.
Yep. So for which bank you are working, if I may ask?
Uh, NetWest.
No, I'm asking for the retail bankers actually. You are working in a different, you are working in a customer service based. Anyone from retail bank? I think we have lots and lots of people. I think I should. Do we have anyone from retail bank?
Yeah.
Yep.
This is Kumari Prerna,
So for which bank you are working, ma'am?
Axis Bank.
Yep. So you are working for Axis Bank. So definitely you must be using, I think you guys are using Finacle or
Yes,
Flex.
yes.
Finacle you are using. So
Yes,
all, whenever you are putting the customer ID of a customer, so all information is going to be there in the Finacle itself, I think.
yes.
All the
Everything will.
data or
Yeah,
everything about the customer. And for the documents part, you must be having some sort of a eKYC portal
yes,
for looking at the documents which were taken at the time of onboarding itself.
yes.
So that's
Everything
the,
will be there in
yeah.
Finacle.
So that's what data integration is. Data integration is all about collecting the data about the customer and integrated it into the system of the organization. Because whenever we are sitting as an analyst in the as an AML analyst, so we need to know the actual profile of the customer. We can't treat a salaried employed and a PEP individual the same way. So we need to know, and for that purpose the data should be integrated. And the like there should be no hustle and puzzle, like for getting one detail you are jumping to a different software, and for getting one detail you are jumping to a different software. So the customer profile should be perfectly made and everything should be there. So that's why data integration is actually important. And even we take data from external sources also. We'll discuss this in detail now only, but for the time being I'll discussing the real time sanction screening we do. So from the global sanction list, I think you guys must be aware about the OFAC sanction list or the EU sanction list, the global sanction list we have, or the PEP database which we have. Because all these things are available on open search. If I am becoming finance minister of India, so it is available on open search. So the third party tools which are providing the data, or which are like world check, which are providing the trigger for information for doing the triggers and mitigating, so they take information from real time screening list, or real time things which are happening, real time media which is going on, real time pep changes which are going on in the market. So this is how things are done. So as far as the Ocean search is involved, so Ocean search is just nothing. It is about searching about someone in the open search. Okay. For example, I got a case and I want to search about the person. Let's suppose, just take example of Kumari Prerna only. So let's suppose we have a customer with a bank. She is Kumari Prerna. with the same name. She is Kumari Prerna, and she's just we have the DOB also, and the DOB says the person is okay. Let's keep it a bit easy so that you can understand. So let's suppose Kumari Prerna is working with Axis Bank. So we have the company name with us, like she is working with Axis Bank, but we don't have the timeline with us. Okay, and we have a hit for the same, and the same person is also with name Kumari Prerna, and now we need to know like for how much time Kumari Prerna is working with Axis Bank only, because the hit which we got is actually imprisonment between, वो जेल में था between 2016 to 2024, let's suppose. It's a negative media alert. ओके, हिंदी में आपको मैं समझाता हूँ. लेट सपोज दो, हमारे पास एक ट्रिगर आता है, हमारे एक क्लाइंट है, हमारे एक कस्टमर है कुमारी प्रेरणा नाम से, और हमारे पास एक हिट आता है विद द सेम नेम कुमारी प्रेरणा. एंड द न्यूज इज, द नेगेटिव न्यूज इज, जिसकी वजह से वो हिट आया है, कि जो कुमारी प्रेरणा है वो जेल में थी 2015 से लेके 2024 तक, मर्डर के चार्जेस में, लेट सपोज. सो अब हमें मिटिगेट ये करना है, हमें फैक्टर्स ढूंढना है कि हम कैसे इसको मिटिगेट कर सकते हैं. एंड उसके लिए हम लोग ओशियन सर्च का यूज ऐसे करते हैं, हम लोग ओशियन सर्च पे जाके उनका टाइमलाइन चेक करते हैं. लेट सपोज जस्ट वी आर गोइंग ऑन अ ओपन सर्च एंड वी विल बी राइटिंग कुमारी प्रेरणा, and then we'll be adding this plus sign, and then we'll be adding Axis Bank, because in our system, in our customer profile, it is mentioned like this person is working with Axis Bank. Okay, so now we have the LinkedIn profile with us. Instagram is not at all leverageable. We can leverage LinkedIn, we can leverage Rocket Reach, Market Screener, and your Bloomberg. Even not Rocket Reach. Most of the banks don't leverage Rocket Reach. We can leverage your LinkedIn, definitely. We can leverage your Market Screener. We can leverage your Bloomberg or your UK directory, which we have, uk.gov.in, for the customers which are from United States only. So we got this profile with the name of Prerna Kumari, and we just opened it up. Okay. So she's working with Axis Bank from past 3 years, let's suppose. Okay. So from, if a person is working with Axis Bank from past 3 years and the hit is in the jail, okay, the hit which is there, वो जेल में है 2024 तक, so definitely Axis Bank किसी को भी हायर नहीं करेगा जो जेल में होगा. It's a matter of what you say, free. It's a mitigating factor as a freedom. लाइक इफ अगर आप जेल के अंदर होंगे तो आप कैसे एक्सिस बैंक ज्वाइन कर सकते हो. सो वी हैव टू प्रूव इट. फॉर प्रूविंग इट व्हाट वी विल डू, वी विल मेक अ क्लोजिंग कमेंट. वो सब मैं आपको, हम लोग उसमें स्क्रीनिंग पार्ट में डिस्कस करेंगे प्रॉपर्ली कैसे हम लोग करते हैं. जस्ट फॉर द सेक ऑफ ओशियन सर्च आई एम टेलिंग यू लाइक दिस इज हाउ ओशियन सर्च आर done. So just take a one more example. Let's suppose we have a client name David Josh, and the company for which he is working, let's suppose, let's take any company, let's suppose we get to know he's working with Black Rock, maybe. Okay, so we have done the open search. Now we don't know whether this David Josh is with BlackRock or not. मैंने इसको random search किया, मुझे नहीं पता. So we have to know like क्या वो होगा. अब देखो, आपने देखा यहाँ पे डेविड जॉन्स करके आया है एक प्रोफाइल. वी हैव वन प्रोफाइल विच इज डेविड जॉन्स विच इज विद ब्लैक रॉक. ओके, वी हैव डेविड स्मिथ, वी हैव डेविड जॉन्स एंड डेविड स्मिथ, एंड वी ओनली लेवरेज द वेरी फर्स्ट पेज. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आप फिर सेकंड पेज थर्ड पेज में जाते रहेंगे ओशियन सर्च के लिए. फॉर
This is
ओशियन,
called open search or ocean
yeah,
search.
the same thing. Even
It's the same
the
thing.
generic term is open search, जो हम लोग कंपनीज में बैठ के बात करते हैं, open search, but the technical term is ocean search.
Just putting it on Google. This is
Pu-
what open search
Putting
is.
it on open search, putting it
Open
on
search.
the Google, and just
Any
using
other explorer.
we generally use Google only because it is used by each and
It
everyone.
refers to the search we use besides the software.
Yeah, we are using open the information which is available in the open market for getting further more information. That's what ocean search is all about.
And
Ocean
on first
search.
page only.
Generally we leverage first page only, but it depends on the client need. But yeah, for Ocean Search we leverage first page only. It is actually open source intelligence search, we can say.
And
Oceans.
why can't we leverage the Instagram?
No,
We can we
Instagram
can
is
see
actually.
whether the customer is in jail on that moment or not by leveraging his social media.
How can you leverage Instagram for knowing like someone is in jail or not? Even if I am sitting here and I can post like I am in jail, and if I am in jail I can post like I am not in jail for
Okay,
social media part. But what happens with LinkedIn, why we leverage LinkedIn is because LinkedIn
but
is considered, yes,
LinkedIn can also be faked, no?
yeah, LinkedIn can be faked up, but LinkedIn is considered as a professional platform because uh like you have to at times you have to add the credentials in the LinkedIn. There is a security badge in the LinkedIn, if you guys are aware. लिंक्डइन के नाम के बाद एक सिक्योरिटी बैच होता है, एंड वो तब आता है व्हेन यू आर verifying your LinkedIn profile using your professional email which you are having with your organization. So that's why we use LinkedIn on that part. And it's actually on client needs. As far as generally what happens, we leverage the LinkedIn profile, no worries on that, but few of the clients are very very furious and they are like leverage only those profile which are having this badge only. I can even show you the badge if you guys don't know. I think my LinkedIn must be logged in here. uh, okay, I think यहाँ से मेरी LinkedIn पे जा सकते हैं. This is not my LinkedIn, just a second, I'll show you my LinkedIn page. So okay, this is my LinkedIn. So can you see this just a second, this badge here, this badge. So actually I verified my workplace HDFC Bank using the work email. So that's why we do leverage LinkedIn as a authentic source for that.
How does it come this batch? You have to like
You
put
have, yeah,
your
you have to verify it. There's an option to verify your profile, and then you have to put your work email, and they will send a OTP on that email, and then you will be putting that email back here.
okay.
Then there will be this batch.
Even you can give the government ID also for verifying.
Yeah, government ID can give. Okay, so this is how Ocean Search is done. The open source intelligence, both are the same thing. We use different public records, government publications, articles, like all those stuff to get the information. You know, it's a very general term. So, guys, any doubt in this very first step which we have discussed, data collection and integration? Why data is collected? What can be the sources and how it is integrated? Like, any doubt in that? It's the first step in transaction monitoring. Anything? Anyone? Shall we move with the second step? Just a second. Data collection we have done. Second is actually your screening, as far as I remember. Let me just alert generation and management is just there. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so let's discuss the second step from our full-fledged notes. Actually, I've included few more things there. It would help you more. Mm, these are the key regulations. Risk-based approach. Everything is very, very detailed. Like for risk-based approach, you can just have a look on this, like how risk-based approach work and like how everything is done. Then we have, okay, let me just take you to the, yeah, so the very first is your data sources, which we have discussed, and data integration. This is all about data sources only, data integration, data sources. Mm, where it is gone actually. I'm just looking for the procedural part. Investigation and case management. Compliance testing is there. No, where it is gone. The transition monitoring, merging trends are there. Just a second. Because after data integration, we do the screening and then RBA, then investigation escalation. I think at least something is I'm missing on something. Let me just check a bit more. Okay, so these are the rule-based monitoring. Okay, guys. So there are two things. Like actually, this there's a confusion from my end. So do you guys want me to discuss the full transaction monitoring procedure, or first we should discuss like how transaction monitoring is done on the practical aspect? Because the terms which actually we have included in this document, they are all about your investigation and case management and all those stuffs are there. So these are the things which are related to your how actual practical alert generation and management is done. So what do you think? What shall we discuss first? Because actually transaction monitoring involves just the generic terms like after collecting the data, then we have to screen and we have to do the screening and filtering, then risk based analysis is there, then the investigation part. So we have elaborated the investigation part here only, like how actual alert generation and all those stuffs are done. So shall I just discuss the generic uh, topic, or shall we move with this flow which we have made in the document itself? It's a mix of both the your practical and your theoretical aspects. That's why the name of the topics are a bit different. That's why I got just confused. So what do you think?
For me, I think practical approach is better.
Okay, so we'll discuss that, and I'll be doing one more thing. I'll be sharing you one process which is just whole theoretical procedure it is for transaction monitoring. Just a second. You can have a look on that also. And the procedure which we have integrated in this document, it is a bit what you say, practically approached.
But Mukund, it's been 3 hours. I think we should
Yeah,
get
like if
carried
you
this
guys
late.
want to like s- do this on another call, so I'm happy with that, because that would take a good understanding and that would take a good time to understand the
Yes,
actual
We
procedure.
should do it on a fresh day.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, we have covered your AML completely today, because almost 1 hour is occupied in the AML part only. So for transaction monitoring today, we have covered the basic things like what is transaction monitoring, the first thing, and what are the bylaws and why they are there and how they do all this thing. Yeah, Harpreet Singh.
Guys, I heartfelt request you to all to please respond. Please respond on the LinkedIn post which we have started as a MCQ series.
Yeah, these are just for you guys, to you
It
will be getting a
it
better
is
insight.
yes, you can it can enhance your knowledge also.
Yeah, definitely. So देखिए, आप लोग सजेस्ट कीजिए। शेल वी हमने डेटा कलेक्शन डिस्कस कर लिया, हम उसको फिर से भी कर सकते हैं। यहाँ से क्या है, एक्चुअली हम लोग बहुत डीप में जाने वाले हैं कि अलर्ट कैसे, मैकेनिज्म अलर्ट का कैसे होता है एक्चुअली, कैसे एक अलर्ट जनरेट होता है, उसका क्या ट्रिगरिंग मैकेनिज्म है। ठीक है, कैसे पैटर्न रिकॉग्नाइजेशन होता है, थ्रेशोल्ड ब्रीचेस होते हैं, लिस्ट मैचिंग होती है, बिहेवियरल स्कोरिंग की वजह से होता है। उसके बाद अलर्ट प्रायोरिटाइजेशन एंड मैनेजमेंट क्या होता है। दोज हु आर वर्किंग विद ग्लोबल बैंक्स दे मस्ट बी अवेयर अबाउट दिस टर्म प्रायोरिटी लिस्ट एंड अलर्ट प्रायोरिटाइजेशन एंड ऑल दो स्टफ। तो वो कैसे
Alert
हम लोग करते हैं?
prioritization works on the aging system.
हम्म।
Which alert got generated first, so we can resolve the first. Uh,
Yeah, aging is a alert prioritization. Even in my case, when we are onboarding a client on urgent basis, then alert prioritization is also there. So this is how alert prioritization is the then how positive management is done. Because majority of the false positives are nowadays getting resolved by the system itself. So those who are working, I don't know, they will be seeing something like close by the system automatically. So the easiest false positives are actually managed by the system itself. Then investigation and case management, how AML investigation actually work. So how what are the initial step, then the investigation procedure, how we investigate the process, then the decision making part comes into the picture, and we have this CMS system, case management system, on which we are actually working. Like for every client, for every bank, they have their different CMS system, so we'll discuss that in detail, very very detail. Okay, then your SAR STRs, we'll discuss, that's not a big deal. And regulatory reporting, record keeping. So all these are a few more terms, but yeah, the most important things to understand is from your third point to your seventh point here. This covers your overall actual investigation of transaction monitoring, how transaction monitoring cases are done, managed, and mitigated. Okay, even we can do one more thing. Gurdeep, I think we have made a list of the uh, tools which were used. Have we shared the list of tools with you guys?
No, you just give
No, no.
example about some like
Okay.
call check,
Okay,
Lexis.
okay, okay, great. So we have a list. Gurdeep, I think we have shared that with the first batch. So if possible, can you please share that with them also?
yes, yes,
Yeah,
sure.
and just do one more thing. Try to add few more tools if possible. अगर आपको कुछ और नया टूल पे काम करने का मौका मिला हो, so please वो भी आप ऐड कर दीजिएगा, so that they must know like स्क्रीनिंग के लिए कौन से टूल्स यूज होते हैं, ट्रांजेक्शन मॉनिटरिंग के लिए कौन से टूल्स यूज होते हैं, किस चीज़ के लिए क्या यूज होता है। ठीक है, सो वो लिस्ट हम आपको शेयर कर देंगे, गुरदीप आपको शेयर कर देंगे डेफिनेटली। एंड संकेत, आर यू देयर? हेलो? I think Sanket is not available because he must be shifting. So I'll be sharing one procedure post for your transaction monitoring, and you can just have a hang on like what is the actual just procedure for transaction monitoring, and the practical approach we can discuss here. And one more thing, guys, from tomorrow itself, I'm gonna make a habit. I'll be doing one certificate by myself also, and I'll be posting the certificate in the group on the LinkedIn. So I would be wanting you guys to just follow the same activity. Please do one certificate and post that on LinkedIn. It's a request from you all. Please do that thing. And one more thing, I'll be sharing on daily basis in the morning. I'll be sharing one LinkedIn post regarding email and KYC. That's a part of your LinkedIn optimization journey. You have to do nothing. Just copy paste the post. Just save the image and just upload the as it is post in the on the LinkedIn. So you will start getting reach, and your profile will be started to get into the algorithm part. So please आप वो activity भी कीजिएगा। बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है यार वो आप लोगों के लिंक्डइन ऑप्टिमाइजेशन के लिए। एंड द थर्ड थिंग, जो लोग आज फ्री हैं, प्लीज कनेक्ट विद मी आफ्टर, आप मेरे से कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं आफ्टर 7 PM टिल 3 AM, आई एम अवेलेबल। आप मेरे से किसी भी टाइम कनेक्ट कर लीजिए प्लीज। एंड डेफिनेटली आप अपना CV टेलर करा लीजिएगा। ऑलमोस्ट 15 to 20 पीपल्स हैव ऑलरेडी डन दैट, सो प्लीज डोंट बी लेट ऑन दैट पार्ट। ओके, today we have covered just your transaction monitoring basics, and we'll share few things about that. और आप प्लीज़ ये मुझे सजेस्ट कीजिए कि नेक्स्ट क्लास जो हम रखें वो सैटरडे को हमें इसी टाइम रखनी चाहिए। आप लोग कंफर्टेबल हैं इसी टाइम में?
हाँ ठीक है.
Yes.
Okay, so just a second, मैं recording भी stop कर देता